So, in today's episode, entitled Hentai, Tundra, and Attunement, we find the crew once again in the heart of a Ross stronghold, making their way through unfamiliar territory in an attempt to discern exactly what they're doing there and why they're choosing to stay. They are once again all together, although not necessarily working in concert, making discoveries, both personal and environmental, and ending with one pretty cool discovery. We hope you enjoy.
So anyways, like I was saying, Die Hard Dice is a wonderful, wonderful company that makes high-quality dice out of metal, out of bone, out of other such materials, and their customer service is beyond any other dice company that is out there. I mean, I got a set of golden dice because I thought they were going to be really cool, but I also really wanted some silver one, and they tossed in a free silver D6 along with my order. So if you want to get some high-quality dice, go to dieharddice.com and shop there today. Please give me
Wait, description.
Maybe I will,
Wait,
Michael.
did you
Maybe
say bone dice?
I'm pretty sure they have bone dice. I could be wrong.
I mean, I would definitely buy me some bone dice. Could you tell me one more time where I would go to get these dice?
Well, you would go to dieharddice.com. That's die as in my character just died, hard as in this adventure is hard, and dice as in a dicey situation.com.
You know, you could have just said my character is blank for all of those, right?
This is why they don't ask us to sponsor stuff, guys.
Also, we don't have that many viewers.
No, but whatever.
We have 5 loyal us who watch this.
Us. Okay. Link in the description.
They're not real bone.
No, because that's illegal.
Is it?
All right. We gotta get going because we got people gotta leave early today and stuff to do and people to murder. And
Doing stuff and stuff to do.
stuff and stuff.
And insane amounts of loot to find. Maybe.
Hopefully, because the DM was hopped up on Dr. Pepper and decided she doesn't give you enough fun stuff to play with. So
I like fun stuff to play with.
I
Yeah.
love fun stuff to play with. Oh,
gotta
and we have
earn it,
boss
though.
and we have boss enemies to extort for money.
yeah, you gotta find that one too. Okay, so when we left off, Xylund had just released a Ulric from his cage by releasing the cage from the ceiling.
I'd like to point out that Ulric was already released.
Flawless plan executed flawlessly. You're
Uh,
welcome.
So y'all are still in this a jail, for lack of a better term, within the what was referred to as a stronghold of the Ross, sent here to assassinate their current leader in exchange for the dragon orb, which you do have in your possession as promised, delivered by an exceptionally helpful halfling.
Who we killed, put out of his misery.
Yeah, I suppose.
So now we don't have to kill the Cathal Ross guy, is what I'm thinking. I think
Tech-
actually we should maybe befriend him, since the Cathal Ross want him dead.
Well, this guy also really wants the dragon orb, so...
Well, we could hide it then. And pretend we don't have it, and then befriend him.
Yes, we're gonna hide an insanely powerful magical artifact somewhere on our bodies that
Well,
won't
I've
be
had some
detected.
success in the rectal area.
An insanely powerful
Dragon
magical
orb? Oh, could shove it right up there.
an
Ornean
insanely
first.
powerful magical artifact that can be found with a locate object.
Well, it's not a perfect plan.
Alright, if you want to do this plan, you can do it on your own time, but later.
Personally, out of character, I think we should just be open to being bribed. It's a lot easier to adventure that way.
Didn't one of the Cathal Ross say something about like cloaking the magic until we got to the entrance or where we were supposed to be?
No, they said they wouldn't give it to us until we were on the
Got it.
doorstep.
Okay.
Which I guess means we're on the doorstep now, so...
Yep.
Only one way forward, as far as we can tell.
Well, I think we should talk to the guy first. Maybe we can work something out, because it seems like a mistake to just murder him outright as soon as we see him.
Well, I mean, you've never had a problem murdering Cathal Ross up to this point.
Well, that's
Also,
what I'm
he's
saying.
like
Cathal Ross
super
want him
dumb.
dead.
He's like
Or
super
anything.
evil. He's like too evil for the Cathal Ross, I think.
Well, no, but he's reverse evil, though, which means maybe he's good. Like, the Cathal Ross are evil, so if they think he's evil, maybe he's good.
Or he's like super, super evil.
Yeah, one of those two things. But, I mean, I don't think there's any bottom to the Cathal Ross's evil, you know? I don't think they're like, ooh, that guy's too evil. I think all evil's pretty good in their book.
Well, I mean, they literally sent us here because they said, ooh, this man is too evil.
No, they sent us here because they thought he was too insane to effectively lead the cult and that he could no longer speak to their god. Not that he was too evil.
That's
they
exactly what I said. Ooh, he's too evil. I'm paraphrasing for the simpleton. Please keep up.
You weren't actually there, though, Lily. Were you?
Wait, no.
No.
Never mind, scratch that. I didn't say that. Damn it, Johnny Winslow, why are you not here?
Well, about that.
Oh.
No, I'm just messing.
Well, they come out of the hallway as NPCs and Eerie uses them to kill us.
Well, one way or another, I don't think this guy is good news, so if we take him down, maybe the Cathal Ross cool down. Because he's been, chasing after us. And if we kill him, then at least we get him off our backs.
He's the one who's been sending the Cathal Ross after us?
I think so, because of the Dragon Orb.
Well, let's ask him.
Oh, speaking of which, can I, take a second to try to, I guess, attune to the Dragon Orb?
You can sit and hang out with it, sure.
Assuming that we're taking a brief rest, so that Ulric can recover his pride.
Will that ever really happen, no matter how long it rests?
Alright, is everyone amenable to a short rest?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That will, of course, give anyone who is injured time to heal, which I believe is just Ulric. I'm
Just
not
Ulric.
sure. Kern's rolling for good idea, bad idea. So yeah, Davynn, as you're able to sort of sit and ponder over, because I don't think meditate is really a word that Davynn would necessarily have in his vocabulary. But as you sit and consider and touch the Dragon Orb, which is really the first time you've gotten to handle it and, really be this close to it when you weren't, when you didn't have friends trapped in it. It's really fascinating for you. You feel compelled to look at it and into it. Now it is opaque. It doesn't function as a crystal ball or anything. You don't see pictures, like you would expect to based upon your reading. All those tales of gypsies and swamp witches and it doesn't seem to apply here. You don't get any pictures or any swirling colors or anything. You just feel very connected to the orb, and it sets off a very mild fire-like sensation within your hand. It's not unpleasant, but it's extremely foreign. It's almost like when your hand goes to sleep and you start to get that pins and needles effect. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't feel entirely natural as you sit with it. But you have no desire to put it away. You have no desire to let go of it.
I'm standing right behind Davynn with my mace out, ready to bash whatever comes out of the crystal ball. Just looming over him.
Welcome back, friends. Okay, so as we were discussing, Davynn has been concentrating on the Dragon Orb and beginning to bond with it, as you do. Anything else you'd like to do?
Lily's gonna go talk with Lana since it's the first time she's seen her in God knows how long.
All right.
Hello, Lana. You're looking well. Is Noel back?
Yep.
No, you want push to talk?
No.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I would agree with that diagnosis.
Also, so while they're working that out,
Yes.
I have only prepared divination and like healing stuff for today. So if anybody wants me to ask questions, I am in the best position to do that today. Before we decide to start going. Like, let's say, do we want to ask if certain things are a good idea? We probably have enough like material components for some of this stuff. Yeah. We will.
We could ask how evil the Catharos dude is.
Is
scale of 1
trusting
to
the
10.
Catharos a good idea? No.
I think Kern's fudging the results on that one. I don't think you really asked anybody if it was a good idea.
But how
But
are
I
we
also-
supposed to know? We don't know how his clericy holy magic works.
Well, I mean, you do have a paladin in the party.
Who does paladin-y holy magic, not clericy holy magic.
I'm an expert in all types of holy magic. Just ask and I will answer.
I was gonna say, silent.
I mean, you know, the one
Brilliant.
time with the bees.
I
that
wanna
was
say
pretty
that's
holy
wrong.
magic.
Do you actually want to do any sort of divination or anything like that while you guys have time?
Well, I mean, how trustworthy is your god? I mean, you don't seem to be that close with her. You seem to be pretty standoffish, you know? Who knows that she'd be steering us in the right direction? I mean, we're asking a moral type question of a crazy sea weather goddess.
Hey,
what I mean?
hey. She's a storm goddess.
Well, it's not really her
Not weather.
area of expertise.
Yeah. I don't know. Just thought I'd throw out the option.
Maybe
Yeah.
we could ask her to ask one of the other gods. Like, get her to ask Grennan what he thinks about it.
Probably.
I don't know
since-
if it works like that.
I sincerely hope that we don't need a divine intervention anywhere in the near future.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. Noel's
Noel's
freaking out.
confused.
Yeah.
Still, it couldn't hurt, and it's not like she would blatantly lie. I mean, that's not how this magic is supposed to work, yes?
Well, how
Supposed
would
to
we
be
phrase the
fairly-
question then?
I don't know. So,
Well, I believe you had the right of it, Kern. Is killing the leader of the Cathal Ross a good idea? I mean,
It's too subjective, though.
So yeah, if we ask it like that, I think she's just gonna answer whatever entertains her the most.
Yeah, exactly.
well, so it's so from what I understand of these magics, you can't really give something too extraordinarily specific, or it won't be useful. It's supposed to be a consequences based answer. If the consequences for killing him are disastrous because the Catharos get fully organized and take over the world, then that's bad. If killing him has
Unless
them
she
settled
thinks
down,
That's good. Like, we
but
don't
why
know.
would she?
Well, I don't know. Why would she think anything? She's a goddess.
I've got a question. Why are we debating this? All Cathalros need to be killed.
Well, yeah, but maybe not the
Then
one
we're
that they
killing
want
one.
killed, though.
Are we all agreed there? They all need to die? Why are we debating we're going to kill one? He's a big scary one. He should be killed.
The thing is, it might cause more problems than it's worth.
Will it? Will
If he's-
killing a big
I don't know.
Catharos
That's
cause
the entire reason why
problems?
we're asking.
Okay, so the question needs to be something along the lines of what effect will it have on the Catharos if this guy is killed? Like, will it strengthen the Catharos if we kill this guy? Yes or no? It has to be a yes or no question, doesn't it?
I can either. I've got like 3 different divination spells prepared. And say if an action that we're gonna take has good or bad consequences, I can ask whether a single question asking concerning a specific goal or event that will occur within 7 days. It might be cryptic or short or an omen. And then I just recently picked up that I can ask 3 questions that can be answered yes or no.
3 questions. Well, that seems like the one to go with. We'll get the most information.
Yeah, but it's only yes or no or unclear answers.
Well, maybe the first one then, and leave it up to. We'll hope your goddess doesn't screw us. Ask her what the outcome of killing this dude will be.
I think we should kill him, and that way, the people who are mad at us will be dead, and the living ones will let us walk free, as opposed to having 2 angry groups coming to kill us know who we are.
Well,
Mhm.
although Ulric, there is still that strange man we encountered in the cavern, the green.
It's
One
simple.
that-
Okay, then we'll only have 1 man trying to kill us instead of 3. Huh?
Well,
Huh?
That's fair, but I feel like he's the more troubling of the 3.
Well, I don't see how he's even involved in this fight.
Well,
we
okay,
will
so
get
this
rid
is,
of
this is
these
what I'm...
current
That's
enemies
fucking team speak.
and run away from him later.
Hey, Noel came back.
okay,
Oh,
back.
you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, continue.
You just had to swear. That's all it
Yeah.
was.
Oh, I've been swearing.
So
since
this
the
is what
middle.
I'm
That's
thinking.
not it.
He wants this dragon orb. We know how ridiculous this thing is, right?
Well, yeah, we're not going
and-
to give him the dragon orb.
Yeah, but he wants it. The people that hired us to do this don't want it. So at least in my eyes, they can't be as bad as him because this thing could potentially end worlds. They're just gonna, do their stupid undead bull crap stuff all over the place. But I mean, they're at least in check in Loreholt, I guess. There's already like factions that keep them from becoming too powerful. Whereas, like, if we leave this guy unchecked, I feel like there's a lot more potential for things to go south very quickly.
Agreed.
If that makes
Possibly.
sense.
I agree.
Possibly, you're insane. Definitely.
I just think we should not approach the thing with weapons drawn, or maybe with weapons drawn, but maybe not swinging them, or maybe just swinging them threateningly, but not actually attacking. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
you go first.
we should-
ask nicely, and after
Maybe-
he's
maybe
dead,
hurt him, but
we
only
will
a little
continue
bit.
to kill him. How's that sound?
We should try to approach this in as open-minded a fashion as possible.
You don't have an open mind. You're insane.
My mind is as open as a goddamn tundra.
That analogy proves my point.
Tundras are super open.
And empty.
Oh, well, okay. Shut up, Owen.
I was waiting
Shut
for
up,
that. I was waiting for that. Okay. That
So,
one went
I
to,
say
that
we
one went to
agree.
Ulric. That one went-
Xylund goes in,
Yeah.
gets killed, trying to negotiate, and then we fight it.
I will take point. I will absolutely be the point man on this. And if he attacks me, then by all means, save me.
Good. I like this plan. I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
All right.
How's that orb coming, Davin? Are you seeing any dragons in there?
What?
Is it hypnotizing you? Is it turning you evil? Maybe we should take the orb away from Davin.
No, I'm good.
Alright.
Seems distracted.
I resume staring at the orb.
Oh well,
And
I can't
my
see how
hand.
this will go. This will go south.
Sure, it's fine.
Like nobody's ever attuned to anything before.
Maybe give someone else a turn with that. I
I
think
don't
Lana
think we
wants to look into
actually
the orb.
have. I don't think we have like items that we've attuned to yet.
No.
The drift globe, technically.
So nobody's attuned to anything.
Technically,
drift
the drift
globe,
globe is.
Davin,
attunement
can we
item.
take the orb out of your
Oh,
hands for
sure.
a couple minutes here? You're worrying.
Yeah. Okay. Why?
I'm gonna take the orb and see if he'll let me.
I will hold the orb out, but not actively offering it.
I will take the orb.
And now he has to start all over. Congratulations, everyone.
I don't know, man.
Well, maybe let's stare into the weird orb when we're not surrounded by Catharos, one thing at a time.
That's fair, but it's like, have none of you ever encountered a magical artifact before?
No, I live in a magically null city.
I was a farmer.
Oh, hey, you too?
Ugh.
So
Uh,
none of
Not technically a farmer, but still from farming community.
Yeah.
so
Let's
no-
not attune to the item of doom, death, and destruction.
So none of you know what attunement involves.
No.
Usually, like you tighten strings on a lute or something.
Yes.
No, not tuning. Attunement. When you basically, it's less of a bond, less of a link.
So it's
Basically,
like the meaning of a song. That's what the tune meant.
No.
Oh.
If you meditate or focus upon a magical artifact for a long enough period of time, it allows you to access and use said artifact and its abilities.
What about just asking nicely? That usually works for me.
That does not work, Ulric. Davin was in the process of accidentally attuning to that orb, I believe, and you interrupted it, which means he has to start all over.
But do we want him to attune
Yeah, I
to
was
it? It's a
gonna-
world-destroying artifact.
Well,
What?
it is,
I'm agreeing
my
with
family's
Ulric.
artifact, so I guess, yeah.
It technically does belong to him, and it could potentially be useful in the fight
Respectfully?
against this very, very powerful evil entity we're about to negotiate
Or
and
it
most
will
likely
just
fight.
summon a dragon and we'll die.
Or rip a hole between existences and we all explode.
That too.
Well, we don't know that that's all it's useful for. Perhaps it has other abilities, like
But we know that is what it's used for.
we know that some of the uses for it.
And how
Anyway,
do we know he'll
we're
know
still-
what can be done once he's attuned to it?
Yeah.
we're doing a
Or-
lot of
or
arguing in the
possess
middle of the
him.
Catharos complex.
Yeah,
That's how
let's
attunement
maybe
works.
not continue this conversation here.
I think if we're going to have him attuned to it, we should
Yeah,
wait
I'm
till
going
we're
with
in
Kern.
a safer place.
Okay. So we will leave the squabbles for a second. Visit your perimeter guard. As Kern, as you sort of cast about the room, this one is not as large as the original one that you were in, the one where you found Simon. It seems to be predominantly a jail. And there's the center 4 cages, the one where you found the half-lead, and then above Ulric and Lily. And then there's a set of 2 adjoining cages about 20 feet further down, also freestanding. But the walls themselves are just sort of smooth stone, with the occasional inscription that you've been seeing. But as far as you can tell, the only entrances or exits to this location is the hallway that you came in from, and then to the extreme right of the room, there's also a similar hallway that leads to the east. other than that, there's really nothing of value in here. There's the switches that Xylund is familiar with. On the right-hand side, there are a few more cages that have been sunk into the wall, but they all appear to be empty.
We haven't dropped all the cages yet, have we?
No, you only hit three. You only hit 3 switches. The first one, Kern and Lana, you see the wreckage of as you're walking past. It's right next to the freestanding double cage. The second landed directly on top of the 4 cages, right next to where Davynn and everybody were. And then the third one was the one that Lily and Ulric were actually in. So those are both on top of the 4 cage freestanding.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's no braziers, there's no markers, there's nothing really extraordinary about this room. It seems to be simply a series of holding cells, both freestanding, hanging, and then some that have been sunk into the wall. But the only ones that were occupied were Lily and Ulric's, and then the one with the halfling.
I'm going to lower the rest of the cages. You guys might want to cover your ears. There might be something interesting in them. So
Okay.
I'll start lowering the rest of the cages.
I stand next to a wall.
Okay, so Xylund goes to start lowering down mechanisms. Lily and Lana started a conversation, so if you guys want to pick that up while he's doing that, that's perfectly fine.
Well, sister, you're looking rather well. Clang!
Yeah, exactly. It's not subtle or quiet, but whatever.
I guess he's already dropped a couple. Anything would hear these would have heard those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking about as well as I feel.
Lily just kind of look at her tattered clothes and fresh bandages. Yes, I've suddenly realized the benefits of traveling with a cleric. It turns out without one, things heal a lot slower.
Follows. It's good to see
and-
you.
Indeed it is.
Clang.
Clang. Wince, hold hand up to ear. I did miss you, sister. Although, for the record, I am very glad that you were not in Lawhold and after with us. It was
Clang!
quite terrifying much of the time.
We just sort of went directly here. I'm not particularly sure how this time frame works out.
Yes, well, we encountered a rather terrifying individual in an area controlled by the Falaroon. Actually, rather their home territory, so to speak, in the forest.
We got caught in a
And-
3-way fight between kobolds, gnolls, and the Cathalros. Good time.
That seems terrifying. It
It
you,
was. It
Kern,
really
and Davynn.
was. And 2 others who aren't here. Clang.
Quite softer cling.
Quiet clang.
And you're all right. Nothing happened.
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh,
We've got the Dragon
that's-
Orb now, so that's something.
Indeed.
I really want to see what's in the next room.
Yes.
I understand that it's probably going to kill us, but it's hard not to be curious, you know?
Yes. Honestly, I just miss my cat.
All right, so
Oh, I'm not telling her that.
as the last clang echoes softly through the room, as Xylund lowers the remaining 5 cage, at least the ones attached to these mechanisms. lowers them to the ground, and they land with various levels of kerthunk and clang. They all appear to be empty. Not only empty, but have not been used in quite some time. They appear to be dusty and otherwise not in use, as opposed to some of the ones on the ground, which appear to have been in use more recently, and the various torture implements that Lana saw before while exploring also have that air of disuse to them. But other than that, the room seems fairly desolate. It's actually kind of eerie. There's no light other than Kern's light shield. And now that the halfling is gone, it's just your voices that are echoing softly back at you.
All right, next room.
Suppose so.
Who has the dragon orb?
Lana had it.
Oh, yeah, I've got that.
Should probably put it in your pack or something.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Xylund opens his mouth to suggest shoving it up your butt, but then thinks better of it.
Well done, Xylund.
In a rare moment of self-censorship. So the crew wanders together down the new hallway, I assume, is where we're headed.
Yeah.
Went to the right. Okay, cool. Again, this hallway is the same sporadically carved stone. Xylund, it's it's just the repeats of the same type of prayers, organized the same way in slightly different script, but same general theme. As you follow down, this one seems longer than your initial one, which was a pretty uncomplicated straightaway. This one goes on for a bit before making a turn to the south.
Lily, you're a magic type person. Do you know anything about the marrow?
The what?
The marrow. These prayers on the walls keep talking about return to the marrow or something like that.
Do I know anything about that, Ari?
Do you have knowledge of religion?
Oh, you're the wrong person to ask.
I have a +5 to religion. I have a +8 to history and a +8 to arcana. I am proficient in arcana and history.
Okay. Kern's hair blows fabulously. You can. This would definitely be a religion roll.
Nope.
Yeah, I would say it would, and it would be at disadvantage because this is sort of a secret knowledge sort of thing.
Unfortunately, not. Wait, was that Lily's group that had the descriptions of No, that was the other group with Johnny Winslow where they were describing returning to the marrow being when they eat their.
Oh yeah.
When they eat the people or they're strong and it returns to the marrow of their people, kind of thing.
It refers to cannibalism.
Oh, does it?
They mentioned it briefly, yeah.
And that was the
that
Johnny
was
Winslow
Team
group.
Kobold. Yeah, Team Kobold. They mentioned returning to the marrow, briefly,
Okay.
which Kern, his hair blowing fabulously in the non-existent wind, was also part of.
Okay.
All right. Ritual detect magic up on it. Is that
Yeah.
okay? Well, I mean, you clearly show up in your own detect magic.
Am I blinded by my own dragon orb?
All right. So you walk through. Oh yes, yeah. You still got your fairy halo up.
Yep.
Simon? Okay, so you've got airless, so of course Xylund. comes across as well.
I'm going to take
But-
the lead if no one objects. I've got these goggles that let me see in the dark, and a fairy to make me smarter. And I want to talk to this guy before you guys jump the gun and attack him.
Why would we do that?
Okay, fine.
Yeah, Lily's spellbook is also considered a magical item. Kern's holy symbol,
And arm.
and yeah, his entire arm.
I'm starting
y'all-
to understand why y'all are okay with magic. Continue.
Yeah, say tattoos. Like you pick up on effectively the party.
I'd like to point out that Ulric is pure.
Ulric is not pure. Ulric is not pure.
What magic does he have?
You have that dagger.
Not a magic dagger. Well, I stole it from a Cathal Ross, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's not mine, it's someone else's.
I'm just carrying it for him. Yeah. So, but at this point, all you pick up is the party, effectively. Kern's rolling good and bad ideas. All right. So with Xylund out in front, Mason and shield out, goggles on, he turns the corner of this hall. There's no lights in this one. As you come through, as you make your way to the bottom, and it opens up once again. Immediately the lighting changes. Off to your left, Xylund, is another one of those braziers with the blue flame in it that you saw initially when you came out of your cell.
Okay.
And just sort of casting a gaze around, you see more cells very similar to the one that you were in that have been set into the wall, lining the wall to the left. The wall continues to the right, and you can see not far away, maybe 10-15 feet away, there's another blue fire brazier. But other than that, the room opens up quite a bit. You can see in the very far distance across the way, 2 archways that sort of catch the blue flicker of the light enough to let you know that there's door lintels there. But the rest of it is pretty open and pretty dark.
I'll go stand guard at the other end if you guys want to check out the cells.
Sure.
Sure. I'll go investigate. I'm really good at investigation.
Okay.
Okay. Someone want to help me with that investigation?
You just went without asking for help, man.
So yeah.
I'll help.
All right.
I am just observing.
You're just
Making sure
observing. Okay.
Nothing's
so-
gonna pop out and kill them.
All right. We'll go off your passive then. So our investigative team of Lily and Lana.
Which went up last level.
Yes. Good. As Kern plays Watchdog and Xylund prepares to spring into action, Lily and Lana begin to sort of scout the room. Most of these cages are empty. They appear to have a little more traffic than the ones you saw in the previous room. These, again, there's nothing inside of them. There's no furniture or anything that would lead you to believe these are traditional holding cells. But there are... God, Silence becoming Spring Hill Jack. But there are scraps of clothing and bits of food on the floor, stains in the corners that definitely give you the impression that there were living things in there at some point, and not terribly long ago. Lana, you manage to catch as you go past some of these cells, making your way down the wall. In not more than a few of them, there are bits of fur and skin that are stuck to the bars, as if something was trying to rub up against it or push it down.
You know, I'm really starting to understand these arguments for extermination.
You kind of make your way through the room. The center is still very empty, but you can hear the creak and sway of metal above you. As there are more hung cages here. Coming around the corner and just tracing along the wall, you get to the blank stone and then the archways that Xylund saw from across the room.
That's where I'm standing watch.
Okay. Peeking inside, Lana, it's the room where you three began. You see the slightly metallic sheen over the walls. The room is, of course, completely shut. There's no other entrances or exits other than these two archways. And the only sense of life is the flicker of the blue flames directly across the room for you. Yeah, you did a circle.
Were there any other ways we could have gone to get out of the circle?
Not that you have found so far.
Yeah. So it was a circle that wasn't like, oh, this is strange that we're in the same room again. No, it's not like a magically shifting thing. It makes sense geographically.
It was a circular corridor.
Because if you
Okay.
recall, when you guys initially started, when you left the room after you got out of your force cages, you didn't go to the right-hand side. You went immediately to the left-hand side, found Xylund, and continued along the left-hand wall. So, yeah, it is very feasible that you simply went north, found that room, and then came back around the other side. Since you didn't ever check out the right side of this room, it's
Question,
perfectly
Erie.
plausible.
You said across the room there's these blue lights, right?
Yeah, flames. Hmm.
Are they on all the walls, or are they just on the far wall?
So far, the only places you've seen blue flames, well, you personally, Lily, the only place that you have seen blue flame is when you first entered this room. There was one brazier to the right, one brazier to the left. And as you've investigated, you've noticed that there is a second blue not far along the right. And then for the rest of you, the only times you've seen the blue flames have been in this room. One next to Xylund, and then the ones that were across the room from you initially.
So, I want to go check out the wall in between the two bracketed flames.
Okay. This room is fairly large, so it does, I mean, as you get closer to the blue flame with your dark vision, you can kind of see a little more what it is you're walking towards than when you were on the opposite wall. And the two braziers that are closer together, about 10 foot apart, they outline barely a small alcove in the wall. It's very difficult to see. Without the flames there, you might not have even noticed it.
Okay. I'm going to look over my shoulder to make sure there are people watching my back. And
Are there
I'm gonna
people
get
watching his back?
I'm
Or
watching.
her back?
I'm watching her back.
From
But-
across the
I will
room?
watch
Yeah,
her
from
back.
across the room, but I'm watching.
Okay.
I will
I am
watch her
going-
back from closer.
sends a very grateful smile to Davynn because she's she remembers what happened the last time she went poking around, and she's going to very, very carefully get a closer look at this alcove.
Okay. So Lily approaches, walking between the two braziers into this darkened little alcove. It's not very large. It's, again, the doorway's about 10 foot, and the room itself is only about 10 foot deep. The first thing that draws your attention is the floor. It's got a very intricate spiral pattern built into it that is absolutely foreign compared to everything else that you've seen so far. Most everything here is very block and cobble, other than the decorative touches of the prayers on the walls. It's very standard sort of castle construction, fort construction. But this spiral is made of much smaller and much lighter stone than everything else around it. And it starts in the center, and just sort of works its way out until the edge of the circular spiral just barely hits the door frame.
So, go ahead.
Across the only other decoration in the room that you can see in the firelight is directly on the opposite wall, almost nose to nose, at least at eye level. There is a statue. It's a pretty ornate. If you've ever seen like a Jack of the Woods figure, it looks like that. It's a dwarven style face, so kind of squarish, but it. We did lose Noel, but it's got a lot of decoration to it, so that its hair sort of resembles flames almost as it pulls off and then leads itself right back into the wall. We lost Noel.
That Arcana check was for the circle, to see if it is similar to anything I might know of, whether it be a teleportation circle, ritual circle, magical doorway type thing. Like,
Alright, since we lost Lana for a second, I will be Lana. I will have Lana follow you with her detect magic as a help here, and the doorway is definitely, like, this whole room is radiating magic.
can it determine what kind of magic?
It's a transmutation.
This is my expertise.
Are you back, Noel?
I think.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
good.
back.
All right, I took control of you for only a moment as our
Yep.
detect magic font.
To basically
Bring
tell
you
Lily
over.
that this room is a transmutation magic stuffed room.
Gotcha.
So, transmutation magic is Lily's subject of expertise,
Mhm.
And she is a transmutation savant, which really it only applies to copying transmutation spells into my spell book. But would that give her additional, not necessarily advantage, but additional help in deciphering exactly what it's for?
With an Arcana check that high, I will. Yeah, I'll give this one to you. This is the statue across the way is has been enchanted with a magic mouth spell.
Huh. So
Narrow.
do you remember when we were in Featherstone? When we had found that secret chamber? Well, secret basement, really. That had that voice that came from a spell located on a door? Anyone? Am I alone again?
Uh-oh. Hello?
I remember that.
Hi.
Oh, okay,
I'm
good.
way over on
Yeah.
the other side of the room, guarding
Yeah.
everybody.
Well, yeah. That's what I was assuming was like. Wait, did everybody just like back the fuck away out of the room and like go to the other side while Lily was poking around?
No, Lana is with you.
Well, I mean, yes.
Ulric has already declared that he's hiding where it's safest, so.
This is
But
true.
but Davynn and Lana should be there at least. I don't know where Kern is.
Kern is
Yeah, I
am
remember that.
always watching.
He's watching.
Kern is watching everything at all times.
Yes.
Well,
How
there
come
is
it's not creepy when you guys say it about Kern?
Because it's flattering.
because Kern can't not be always watching. It's physically impossible for him to not always be watching.
But when Ulric's
So-
always watching, he just gets slapped and called a pervert.
That's true.
Well, it's because you have to actively be watching in order to always watching.
Oh.
So there's another one of those spells on this statue called a magic mouth. It allows you to basically place a message there to be stated once a trigger happens.
So what's the trigger?
Well, I think you had the right idea with your secret word, maybe.
Marrow.
It could also be a proximity trigger, stepping into the room and
I am stepping.
I won't
onto the
step into the
spiral.
room.
Okay. Immediately, our compulsion twins, Lana and Davynn, jump into the room. And a sound issues forth from the stone dwarven face. Mensak, it says.
Mensak?
Mensak.
And Sog. I think it wants us to mend its socks. Why does it need socks, though?
Mensak.
Does that sound like a language that either any of us, understand?
Xylund,
Well?
do you know the word Minsock? Is that dwarven?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, what's it
Totally
mean?
dwarven. It means unworthy.
Oh,
I mean,
Oh.
they're not wrong.
I imagine we would either have to be dwarven or Cathal Ross in order to be worthy.
not necessarily. We could just go in one at a time and see how it rates us.
The rest of you get in here.
One at
Okay.
a time, though.
All right.
Like,
so
as a
let's
collective,
do it. Lana,
we're pretty
Lana,
sure
get
we're
out
good.
first. I'll try it first. I want to see if I'm worthy.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
All right.
Okay. Davynn is now alone in the chamber.
Do a dance. Maybe it wants a dance. Or a song. Sing a song.
We're in Fable now. When did we get to Fable? We're trying to
It's
reach
a
the
magic
stone
music
faces.
earlier.
It's no longer a magic mouth, it is now a magic door.
Yeah, this is the stone face doors.
I will attempt to do a little dance and jig.
It is lovely. It is the loveliest dances.
Oh, potatoes are the best of the field. We always get our yield every year.
Is this like Iyith's Got Talent? And we get
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently. That's what
So-
Everyone else, please step into the room.
And I strike a pose and be like, huh?
So
Looking at
there's a
statue.
there's a problem with all of your assumptions here. The particulars of the spell allows for one message, and the trigger can be as vague or as general or as specific as you'd like. But nowhere in my knowledge of the spell does it allow for a second message. So unless there are two magic mouth spells, and would I know if there were two magic mouth spells on this thing?
it would be difficult to figure out if it could speak multiple things. You know the style of magic, you've identified the spell, but as far as
Oh, it could also be Cathal Ross version of the spell as well.
Also,
that is true.
it could only trigger when an unworthy person comes near. I mean, maybe something else
I'm
happens.
gonna
if a
start
worthy
shoving you
person
and guys
comes.
into the room if you don't start testing this.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
Okay.
Lily's gonna step in and move to the center of the spiral.
Now you get Mensak.
Shrugs, lights cigarette, walks out.
So, just to be clear, that song and dance was not a waste, right? Because I would feel really bad if it were.
I felt very inspired.
Yeah, we have the memories now,
Okay, good.
which we'll treasure forever.
Just wanted to be sure.
Who's next?
I'll go next.
Alright, Silent. It says Mensak.
Mensog yourself, you fucking asshole. I leave.
Alright. Who's next?
I push Ulric in.
Ulric.
Ulric gets a
Mensak.
word.
No. I will not be judged by some horrible thing. It will say I'm worthy, and it will kill me. It means worthy of sacrifice. That's what
Already
this
said
means.
unworthy. Come on.
Yeah, it already judged you. You are unworthy, sir.
Kern.
Good.
I already know I'm not worthy.
Might as well
Push.
put forth the effort.
Don't worry, we won't think any less of you because neither am I, and neither is any of us.
Hey, can one of you conjure a breeze to make his hair waft? Maybe that'll push him over the edge.
Everybody's blowing on Kern's hair.
Gives a sign, walks into the center.
Toss your hair.
Wait.
All
Wait.
right. Kern.
Ah, damn it.
As you walk in, you also get the deep guttural mensog. But with your general paranoia, heightened perception, and I imagine just general annoyance at the whole affair, you notice directly underneath the mouth, or the statue, written in extremely small letters and in fairly grayish white chalk, so it's almost indistinguishable in the glare of the blue light. A message has been left underneath. It's in Dwarven, unfortunately, but it's there.
And
I'll go read it.
I'm like, hey, there's something over here, and I like light it up better so that you can see it.
I have goggles. I have these. Did I not point out these see-in-the-dark goggles that I made?
They are awesome.
Thank you.
Have I mentioned that you should come up with a name for yourself when you wear them?
Yeah, but I think we already decided that I'm already a superhero, so...
But you could be even super-er.
I don't know. I don't think that's possible. What's the message say?
You have to get pretty close to it, because it is teeny tiny little lettering. But what it says in Dwarvish is speak, and it gives you a phrase, which I will type into chat, and then destroy. And...
Beacon destroyed.
Yeah.
So is this magic mouth, is it a visible mouth, or what's going on there?
The statue doesn't move,
Okay.
but that's where the voice seems to be coming from.
Ooh, do I know what that means?
Yeah, you do.
What's it mean?
It means undying faithfulness.
Oh,
Yeah, you can do a cantrip. What are you doing?
I would like to very subtly, just under my breath, mutter the activation word and as he reads this message, just cause a...
Whoa. You're assuming that I'm reading it out loud for you to
No,
steal my thunder.
No.
Hang on.
I'm not assuming anything. I don't care if you're reading it out loud or not, but while you're reading it, I just went from like kind of a sourceless echoing from without the room, just ominous whispers of arcane-ish sounding languages. Like if you've ever seen The Mummy, like when they have those really ominous whispers that kind of echo, kind of like that, and I just kind of wanted to creep throughout the room.
Okay.
What was that?
What was what?
The whispering.
Look around the room.
Did nobody else hear that? I heard that.
I'm not sure what that was.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
So what happened? Sorry, I was kind of dealing with something else real quick.
Some ominous whispers that had a kind of echoey quality to them, and sounded just like low murmurings / mutterings just kind of echoed throughout the room as Xylund was reading that message.
Yeah, I know what thaumaturgy is.
Two people in this party would recognize that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just like look confused, like look over to Lana. I was like, "Did you do that?"
It's basically a magical case of who farted. That's really what it is. Everyone looking to each other. Who did it? Somebody did it. Xylund?
Oh, well, the message says, actually, the guy with the goggles was worthy, but he didn't want to single him out and make the rest of you jealous.
What? I
Oh,
feel like
okay.
you're being stupid again.
No, actually, it says this. It has this dwarven phrase that we need to read out, and then it says we have to destroy. It says say this thing and then destroy. So I'm assuming we have to smash this statue after we say this thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Go for it.
Well, I hope we're correct because I wager that we're only gonna get one shot, and we could easily break the door as well.
All right. So how about everyone steps out of the room, and I will say the thing, smash the statue. But if my mace doesn't smash it with one blow, how about you guys have some spells ready to cast at it as well to make sure we, really smash it good.
Sounds good to me.
I can definitely do this. Yes.
Okay. So I stand in the room and I raise my mace over the statue and say, "Valatho Estver," and smash it.
Okay, so as you say the phrase and bring your mace down to connect to the stone face, the ground beneath you shifts.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Just make a dex save real quick.
I'm very good at those.
Oh, that's okay. So you managed to maintain your balance. The circular pattern, the little spiral beneath you starts to fold in on itself, kind of collapsing around a central point and pulling itself back along its spiral path, opening up what seems to be a staircase beneath you. I will let you still take a swing at the stone statue, or the stone face, if you wish.
Well, we got what we wanted. Doesn't seem much point in smashing a statue. Does anyone disagree? I'm not. Well, I guess I've already swung, so I guess I'll just see if I connect.
Okay, roll. Okay, go. I mean, that will connect because it's a it's a stationary target. Try to damage it. Oh, yeah, no. That is not enough damage. You bring your mace down into the forehead of this thing, and it just reverberates through your arm. You manage to take out some chunks from the spiked bits, but it's pretty solid as the ground continues to leave underneath your feet.
Can I try to leap off the?
Oh yeah, it's just a step. It doesn't consume the whole room. You can,
Okay.
You can simply take a step off and be perfectly safe.
All right, I do so.
Alrighty, so now you've got an open spiral staircase leading down. In your dark vision, you can see that it doesn't have any light sources either, but you can clearly see it leading to an area beneath you.
Well, it seems we have our way forward, and also our only way out.
Oh, he's still alive.
Alan?
I mean, good job, Xylund.
Davynn doesn't respond since he still remembers the Tundra burn.
That was
Let's keep going then.
Yeah,
all right.
let's go. I'll take the lead in case
Okay.
we run into what's his face. Do we actually know
Xylund-
this guy's name? Okay. Oh, the pettiness.
Whatever his name is, he's a nerd and he has our money.
Yeah, no shit. All right. So you tromp down the stairs. It is only wide enough for single file. Again, think dwarven architecture here. But we will swap.
Map.
You are welcome to bring your tokens to the board if you wish.
You'll
At-
only kill them if we do.
Yes,
At
if
the
we stay
back.
off the board, we're fine.
At the back.
I can take second position after Xylund.
Why is Lotta going in front?
Because I'm impulsive.
Exactly. She needs
Fair
Team
enough.
Impulse.
Fair
Yeah.
enough, but Lana is also squishy.
And
All right. Okay. So you emerge from the spiral staircase. Again, very much as shown here. There's a short flight of stone steps. This stone seems to be of a different style than what was upstairs. This is it's older, it's more worn. There is damage to the floor and to the walls. Nothing that would suggest it's not structurally sound, but it clearly through quite a long time of continued use, things have worn away and begun to crack. You can see, make sure I've got enough revealed here. There is a door directly in front of you. It is heavily covered in vines up and along its doorway. Just a single doorway. And then the hall does open up to both the left. Ooh, that hung there for a second. And right. There's no furniture in here. The only real feature, other than the doors and the open halls, is there's a very thin set of almost silver tracks. They glimmer in Kern's light pretty sharply. They look like minecart tracks, but they aren't the big heavy iron things that you're used to seeing. They don't have the big massive ties or anything. These are very slender, very finely pulled, and they run up and down the halls. They disappear into the darkness on either side, and they run just past this door. But they don't appear to go underneath the doorway at all. And again, no light sources.
I'll go up to the door and listen. It's closed, you said?
It is closed and covered in vines. You want to put your face against it?
I'll listen to see if I can hear anything on the other side.
Okay, perception check.
Oh, persuasion. I persuaded to tell me what's on the other side. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
You don't hear anything from beyond the door, but the stone surrounding it, the stone walls on either side, seem to be fairly thick. So it could be that it's empty, or it could just be some really solid construction going on here. You do hear fairly odd noises coming from this direction. They're very light. They don't sound particularly aggressive or anything, but it's just kind of the light. It's a very light shuffle, like souls versus stone kind of thing. A very faint rustle to the south.
There's something that way. Ulric, go check it out.
You're the one who wanted to be in the front. I don't see any reason why we should change this.
This is obvious stealth stuff, though.
If I die, I'm coming back and haunting you. Which way is this nonsense coming from?
The south.
Grumble, grumble, bumble, smumble. You can tell Ulric's happy.
Are you going alone?
Yes.
Okay.
One thing I will do, since we are like in the heart of super enemy territory, and I don't know about cover, is I will make Ulric invisible.
Oh.
Oh, that's gonna go well for us.
Oh God, why?
So stealthy and invisible.
I regret all of my life choices.
All right, Ulric. So you're heading down. The hallway does open up as you come through. I'll reveal this for you. Give me 1 sec, because I am slow at Roll20. And you see the source of the noise. There are two. They definitely look like they've seen better days. One on either corner here. You've got this guy on one side, an undead dwarf, just sort of shuffling in place, his back kind of to the wall. He doesn't seem to notice you.
I should hope not.
Well, like he didn't hear you or anything. He gives no acknowledgement that you're there. And then on the other side, standing with him, if I can find my token that I had for this. There he is.
Really good thing he's invisible.
Standing opposite is a gnoll, also looking worse for wear. Eyes have cataracted over, tongue sort of lolling out of its muzzle. It has been stripped of its weapons and its armor. It is missing patches of fur in large swaths on its arms and legs and back. In the bare skin, you can see there have been stitches that have been made, large kind of surgical incisions that have been gone over with heavy black thread. It, again, also doesn't appear to pay you any attention if it notices your presence at all. It just sort of shuffles in the corner, looking fairly lost. You can
And
also
there's
see... Go ahead.
Oh, so there's the 3 different hallways there?
Yes, the hallways do continue to the left and right, and there is a doorway, a closed door, directly in front of you. This one does not have vines growing over it. It's just a large stone door, matches with the surrounding, excuse me, stonework. It is heavily decorated, which is interesting because nothing else around here really is. But this one has been set with the image of what you would recognize as kind of like the Fire Father. As Galdus is the largest temple in Lorehold. It is an image that you know. But this one is it's kind of corrupted a little bit, tiny bit.
Oh, you don't say.
A little bit, yeah. He's often shown in a smithing sort of background with sort of war hammers and other implements of war hanging on the wall behind him. It's a fairly common image for him. In this one, all of the war hammers and greatswords have been replaced by people that are hanging upside down.
Yay.
And instead of an anvil, he actually has it's a large table with also lined with tools, but it's got parts on it.
Oh.
Like people parts?
Like people-ish parts. Might have been parts of people. Yeah, this is definitely a very very Vampire the Masquerade version of Galdus. Not one you're familiar with, but still recognizable as the Firefather. This is his goth phase, apparently. So, yeah. Now,
Whoa.
any further than this, and you will lose the light, as Kern is your light source.
Damn. Well, might as well go back then. I'm so
Okay.
eager to keep exploring too.
Well, you need a light.
Especially since as long as you don't touch anything, you're essentially unfindable. Well, true sight.
Ulric's gonna come back and whisper into Kern's ear, because Kern's one of the very few people he trusts here, to not freak the hell out. Down the hall to the right. Dwarf zombie on the left, Gnoll zombie on the right.
Comes this voice from the ether.
Great.
I'll start the attack. You all come save me.
How about you hold back on this unless it gets like super scary? Because as soon as you attack, you lose invisibility. And it
I
might
like
be
the
good
way
to
you
have
think.
you scout
You first.
further. Okay, well let's I'll explain to the group what Ulric just whispered to me in hushed
Okay.
tones. She's like, Ulric came back, said that there was 2 guards at the end of the hallway, one Cathalros dwarf on the left, we're going down, and then a gnoll on the right. So
Lure him up the hallway and jump him.
I was thinking that, and leave Ulric invisible so that we can keep scouting ahead.
We'll make a little bunny rabbit or something in the hallway.
Well, yes. That sounds. That's actually
Alright.
what I was thinking.
Let's go.
All right, I'm gonna take cover behind the corner.
Okay.
Stand up over here and
Start making my way down the corridor.
How are we doing? All right, Xylund going first.
I'm holding a sacred flame for the first undead enemy I see.
All
I'm
right.
I'm maintaining concentration on Ulric's invisibility so that he can get sneak attack even if somebody's not within 5 feet.
I'm holding an attack with a bow for the first enemy without horns and/or skin.
Okay. Very specific. All right. Okay, Xylund, how you gonna do this?
I'll come right up to here until I guess I can see the gnoll.
Okay.
And I'll whap him one.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, that was too easy. Should I have talked to him? Oh well, never mind.
You said you hit him. Roll your attack.
Oops, wrong button.
Oof, yeah, that'll definitely connect. Do damage.
8.
Check this.
I get an extra attack too.
Okay, go ahead and take that. And that will connect. Okay, so you take your mace to this shuffling undead gnoll, and it just crumples around your mace. The parts, his lower arm and chunks of his leg, things that have been held on, reattached, come away as the thread sort of unwinds around the mace blows, and he just crumples into a pile. No resistance, no noise even. He just sort of goes and collapses against the wall. The undead dwarf in the other corner makes no reaction whatsoever. Doesn't look up. Doesn't even. You're not even in its frame of reference right now. It makes no indication that it saw or heard anything that just happened.
Can I just walk over and sort of boop it with my mace? Just sort of boop.
Just
See what it
poke it.
does. Yeah.
It reacts physically in as much as it moves back a little with the pressure of your mace, but does nothing aggressive. It does not look up. It doesn't. If it can speak, it chooses not to.
I'll say in Dwarvish, how's it going?
It makes no reply to you at all. Doesn't look up. Doesn't meet your gaze. It again makes no indication that it's aware of your existence.
Die, zombie!
Let's
Yeah,
just
I'll
punch
smash
it for safety. Yeah.
Okay, so that's an attack from Davynn. Go ahead and roll. And Xylund, do you want to smash it, or you let Davynn take care of it?
I'll let Davynn have his moment.
Okay. So the arrow pierces this thing through the throat, knocks it back against the wall, and it too just sort of slowly crumples in on itself. It doesn't seem to be held together by much.
Was it just me, or was that really easy? Are we just getting really good, or...?
It's a lot easier when something doesn't react.
Alright, well, you guys can take care of that. I'm gonna go back here and wipe off this door and see what's inside.
Okay. Okay, so
I'll provide support, magical support for Xylund.
okay. So Xylund, we'll start with you first. You're at the vine door. You've done your perception check. You didn't notice any sound behind it. But how would you like to proceed?
So there is a door behind it for sure? Behind the vines?
Yeah, you can see the door.
Okay.
You can see the solid stone door. The whole door frame and the door itself is covered with sort of this thatch of vines, but you can still see the stone. And when you pressed your got your face close to it, you can kind of feel the chill coming off of the stone. You know it's underneath there.
I'll take my magic dagger and I'll start cutting the vines. I will
make
be
an
right back.
attack. Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll do this first.
If it makes it easier, like, so could I use Ray of Frost to maybe chill the vines and harden them to make it easier to cut them? Would that work?
Shadow Stabber. Yeah, you can shoot fire if you want to.
Oh, I don't have fire. I only have frost.
Or I'm sorry, Frost. Yeah, his Shadow Stabber.
It's the one I
Okay.
stole from what's her face.
So with that crit and that damage, can I just freeze the vines so that he shatters them instead?
That's not precisely how these vines work, but they will take damage. Excuse me. They will definitely take, and you can watch as the vines themselves turn kind of that silvery white color as they freeze over.
Yeah,
And
I just
where Xylund hits them with his dagger, the outmost layer absolutely splits just under, between the combined attack of both of them. But the vines that are on the outside of the door, the ones that are actually clinging to the wall and to the door frame itself, they begin to shudder fairly violently and sprout thorns as the whole of the mass begins to move almost imperceptibly. Are you back?
I didn't leave.
So basically what I'm doing is I look and see where Xylund is about to attack next, and I'm just kind of looking over his shoulder and just pointing a finger for the Ray of Frost.
So are these vines growing back where I cut them, or did I just not manage to cut them away? They're just growing thorns and...
Well, you did. You got. I mean, you absolutely did cut through to the door. Like you can see the stone. There's still some vines underneath it, but now the entirety of the mass is beginning to move as if the whole thing is reacting to the damage that you've done to it.
I think I'll just keep hacking for now. Maybe I'll get Davynn to bleed on it later if this doesn't work.
Why is Davynn bleeding on things?
Didn't Davynn's blood work against vines before?
That was at my parents' house.
Well, I mean, it's worth a shot.
In the meantime, I think we're examining all these different hallways where I'm not bleeding on things.
If you want to switch to them, I really do have to go for a second.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we'll take a break from this particular little story and we'll come back down south. Okay, so Team South. What are we
That's
doing?
us.
I
Time
believe
to start
we're.
poking my head down hallways.
Yeah, I think we're sending Ulric down some of the hallways at least.
Well, I can just take a peek. I've got a pretty good dark vision radius.
Good, you look
Okay.
down one, I'll look down the other.
Split the party.
Except you don't have dark vision, Ulric.
No, but Kern's close by.
Kern's in the hallway.
Kern, come stand over here.
Yeah, I know. Silent's mental map is interesting.
I would
Okay.
like to note that Ulric is as of yet still invisible.
Yes, he is still invisible. Okay, so we have Lana. Make sure I get all that. Your hallway follows this general shape. Once you move past your undead Gnoll here, the hallway goes down at a fairly sharp angle. There is a doorway here. Oops, let me change my tool. A doorway here. It does have a door, but this isn't one of the heavy stone doors that you've seen so far. This one seems to be much lighter. It might be made of wood, might be made of ironwood, but it is shut. And then the hallway continues on and opens into a fairly sizable chamber over here.
Give me a
Now,
second.
Yeah.
Obligatory detect magic and also a shitty perception roll, so I'm pretty sure this is totally safe.
Okay. The magic in this area is fairly blinding. It's here. It is mostly coming from this direction. Oops, change my tool. Mostly coming from that direction. The room that you're standing in is the best way to describe it is a morgue. There
word,
are
sorry?
morgue.
Gotcha. Ugh.
There are multiple tables set up with tools alongside them. There are long gurney-style beds. The silvery track that you notice in the entrance hall does follow its way into here. Along this wall down here, although it's not indicated on this particular map, there is a doorway with stairs that lead downwards. You can see quite plainly it's not blocked off or anything. Now on the beds, there are approximately 6 that you can see, and all of them are currently occupied, each next to its own little table of implements. 2 of the people on the bed you recognize. One is a landlocked pirate, and one is an adorable mushroot.
And how dead are they?
They appear to be in one piece. If you wish to go and examine them more carefully, you can do
rolled
that.
a 6 in my perception, so this is safe.
From what you can see, they appear to be whole. Their eyes are closed. They might be breathing. It's difficult for you to tell. They, of course, they don't make any indication that they're aware that you're here, but you don't see any stitching or wounds or anything like that. If anything, they have been cared for medically. But wounds they did have been bound, and other than that, they are laying motionless.
Okay. Quick peek up here, and then I'm gonna go report back to the others.
Okay. This tiny little hallway is just an offshoot. It continues on before moving off. And rounding the corner, you find yourself in a very small room. This room, there are 2 bodies. One here and one here. Boop. And in between them, there's a table along this wall. And that table has what looks to be books stacked 3 or 4 high, just on the table itself, and then there is a shelf that completely encases it above and both sides, crammed full of these books. They all have black bindings. There's no writing that you can see on the bindings at all.
Are these like dead dwarves in here, or?
They appear to be dwarves, yes, from your vantage point.
Just start going through these.
You want to enter the room itself, or you want to wait for the crew?
Desperately, but I'm going to go report back.
Okay. So Lana's making her way back to the
Save
crew.
me the books.
We will go over to Team Ulric here. All right, Team Ulric.
Go
With your-
Team Ulric, it
with
is
your
the best.
Lack of dark vision. You've
Team
got
blind as bats.
you got a main hall that does make a turn once you get past your undead friend here, and then seems to open into a larger room, but without additional light. You got nothing.
While this is happening, can I also start investigating this other path?
Yes, take a
We
step
appear to be
back.
doing that.
One step
In
back.
the dark. Oh, with Spooky.
Thank you.
I guess I'll rush back and urge Kern onwards. Kern, if
Yes,
you will,
yes,
this way.
I'm following you. I'm following you.
Okay, so Kern is following the invisible Ulric. By voice, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Just hold my hand and then like give it a squeeze when you're going, and I'll come and follow you when you come and find
Aw.
me again.
It's so cute.
I'm not Xylund. It doesn't work that way.
Pervert.
And we're bringing it back.
So you're able to see into this larger chamber. This is very clearly a dining room. It's got multiple long tables. There are 2 down here along this lower wall. Change my thing here. 2 along this lower wall that are just things that you would see typically in a low-class pub. They're made of wood, not super well constructed, definitely seen wear and tear with long benches on either side. Further up in this corner, there is also a wooden table, but this one is different. It's much larger, it's much higher off the ground, as is the bench, and there's only one bench behind it along the wall here. But this is easily half a foot higher than the tables on the far side, and this one is heavily carved. It's fairly ornate. It's bound in iron on the edges. There's a lot more care that has been put into this one. It's been sanded and stained. Somebody took some time on this one.
And it's larger.
It is larger both width-wise, lengthwise, and height. It is taller than the other table as well.
Probably something other than dwarves? Like, would it be like uncomfortable for a dwarf to sit at?
It would they would be okay once they got up there, but it would be a step stool situation. They would it would be a little kid getting into a booster seat kind of thing. Like the benches are just tall enough that it wouldn't be something they could sit in naturally very comfortably, but they could get up there.
So, like, if they spent the money to make something like this nice, or like they took the time to do it, they probably would have made it a bit more comfortable. Probably.
Potentially.
Potentially. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like I said, it's not naturally dwarf size, but it would not be unreasonable for them to use it. They would just need a boost.
Okay.
To get up
So
there.
at the very least, something's giving them a boost up here.
Something is, yes. And it does continue. There's a small hall in this location, and then the room continues on here.
Did we take a peek or go back?
What's the harm in taking a peek?
Exactly my thoughts.
And then Ulric just leaves Kern there.
Yeah, Ulric wanders away. Okay, heading back to this room. This is the kitchen portion of the dining room. It basically looks like the back room of any low-class pub you've ever been into. There's a
Lots of
single
places.
stove. Yeah, I know. Single stove. Just enough pots and pans to make it work. In the corner, there's a collection of unmarked dry goods. There's these little earthenware boxes, which are kind of strange. You're used to seeing more crates and barrels, that sort of thing, but these are very clearly made out of stone and clay that are shut and leaning up against this corner here with all the dry goods. There's not a lot of cleanliness involved down here. There are dirty plates stacked in a quarter next to a bucket with no water in it. It's not the nicest place you've ever been.
Nice.
Clearly. There's an awful lot of mushrooms, though, just in heaps and piles, along with the dry goods and the earthenware boxes.
Grab the mushrooms.
I was about to say,
Disgusting.
keep away from Xylund.
Ulric will pee on all of the mushrooms.
No.
So when the inevitable smoking happens, he will be thwarted.
I don't think it's actually going to thwart him, for the record.
That's true.
Ulric will be happy. Anywho,
Alright.
what's down this little hall?
Going down the little hall.
Turns out
it
that
is a-
Ulric and Kern were good partners. He's number one and I'm number two.
Aww. You guys are the worst. This little hall is actually a very tiny hall. Not only is it fairly compact, but it's also short. You can still walk through it okay, but you can feel the top of your head brushing up against the underside of the stone. It's in a very claustrophobic little area, as opposed to all the other corridors, which so far have been of usual size, 10-foot ceilings, that sort of thing. Crawling through, the hall breaks to the north and south. Both doors are open. There's no actual blockages here, so you can see inside once your traveling flashlight catches up with you.
Yay.
To the south is a room full of beds. Full of beds. They are bunk beds, except they're 3 high, which, given the low ceilings, makes for very, very cramped quarters. And from what you can see, just in this tiny area in here, there are at least half a dozen of them. The spaces between them are super narrow. You wouldn't be able to get through unless you went in sideways. You don't see a whole lot in terms of storage, but everything else that you see just screams like bunkhouse. A very small, crowded bunkhouse.
There's no signs of like anything living in any one of these places.
No, so far, you have not seen anything move or heard any noises that would alert you to the fact. The only noise that you pick up, Kern, with your amazing passive perception, there is the vague sound of running water.
Like in the kitchen area, or
No,
in general?
Strangely, just right here. Not actually in the kitchen. Here.
Is there a mushroom patch over in the corner?
Oh, good lord. Looking in this room, you probably want to stay in the doorway, Ulric. But looking into this room is what could very generously be described as a shower. There are 2 points on that wall and this wall here where you can see water comes out, but it is barely a trickle. You can see it running down the stone wall, and there seems to be some sort of rudimentary pipe that exits through the wall directly opposite you, but the entire wall and floor is just slick with slime and moss and growing mushrooms, and the smell is pretty organic in there.
Organic.
Yeah. It's not entirely pleasant.
You know arsenic is organic, right?
Yes. It's very fungal, and it's very earthy in there. And again, other than the mushrooms and the molds themselves, you don't see any sign of life, and there's no exit to that location. It just seems to be the facilities for the facility.
Okay.
And here I am, and I used the room before it.
Exactly. You were 10 foot off.
Aside from the bathrooms and showers, I think we should probably, just
I think
go
we
through
can
some
go
of this
back
stuff.
safely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get
So,
Lana to see if there's anything around here
all right.
that's popping up magical.
In the toilet?
I said everywhere but the toilet. I mean, magical things happen on the toilet, Ulric. Magical.
Well, I mean, if I were hiding something, I'd hide it in that little pipe down there.
Maybe.
Think we can get Xylund to go digging in there? I'm sure I'll think of something. Let's go back to the others now.
Alright, let's go.
Alright.
Run, clank, 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 clank.
So yeah,
Clank,
you
clank,
guys
clank,
clank your
clank.
way, the loudest man in the universe and the most invisible, back to our central meeting point.
Yeah.
Now that Xylund's back, we'll pop back north for a second, and then we'll get to you, Davynn. So now that Lana has returned. So Xylund?
Yeah, we'll just keep as we were doing, I guess. Freeze, stab, freeze, stab, freeze.
I
stab.
did take a moment to send off those 2 messages, one to Kern and one to Lana.
Just letting them know what's up.
Yeah, letting Kern know what's up and that it's might take a while, but it could also get very dangerous depending on if the vines keep reacting. So just kind of letting him know that's the thing.
Okay.
And then I sent a separate one to Lana that was basically just, hey, if you see anything cool that I specifically could use, and you can't use it, could you save it for me? Like books. I sent this before she found books, by the way, so I'm not metagaming.
Okay. So, Xylund, you're able to cut your way free. The vines are still shaking pretty violently, and they are popping out thorns. But between the cold and your magical shadow stabber, you're able to slice your way through to the actual stone door itself, which opens quite easily.
Yay. I'll step in. Actually, I'll poke my head in first.
Okay.
Then I'll step in.
And that's what you see. There's a kind of like an antechamber thing going on. You don't see anything in it. There's no furniture or anything. And then it just continues on into the dark.
I'm gonna investigate.
All right.
I will assist with that investigation.
Okay.
You guys come on through. And I'll just reveal this area for you.
Oh.
So what you see is
8 separate treasure rooms.
yes, eight vaults of treasure, all unlocked, all waiting for you.
Hooray.
Now you do see that there are 8 doorways, 4 on either side, lining this hallway that does dead end. The area inside doesn't have any vegetation at all, other than the occasional bit of phosphorescent moss. It's very austere in here. The damage to the floor is as shown. The floors are cracked severely, in desperate need of repair. The walls themselves have been chipped away. There's no prayers written here. It's all very plain and very basic.
Well, I'll go look in these 2 rooms.
Okay.
Are they, like, what kind of doors are we dealing with here?
No doors at all. These are all
Okay.
open doorways. Yeah, there's no doors here. Once you get past the initial door, these are all open.
I'll just poke my head into these 2.
Okay. Poking your head inside, you see kind of college dorm rooms, basically. There are 4 small
Legit.
beds to a room. One in each corner. They're fairly short, although a little wider than normal. They appear to have stone bases with some semblance of pillow, but there's no covers, there's no mattress. It's they're very similar to plinths. And then there are wooden desks, 2, one on either side, on these walls here. And they are identical, north and south.
Honestly, the layout here is not too far off of my sister's room in the college at Merriford.
I'm thinking we should maybe search for clues. How about you take the north rooms, I take the south rooms?
I think that would be fine. Just provided we wait. I suggest we wait until we move on to the next room until the other is ready, just to keep each other close enough to react should something happen.
I can shout pretty loud.
Fair enough.
Oh, you mean you take the north and then I take the south and then we both move on together?
Exactly. Like,
Okay,
you
that's
take
fine.
north, I take south, and then once you're done with your room and I'm finished with mine, we move on to the next one.
All right, unless you're too slow, in which case you're on your own. But yeah, in theory, good idea.
Fair enough. I'm gonna come here and start off with a visual investigation. Make sure there's nothing, no like ropes or pressure plates or anything that I could actually see before stepping in.
Make a perception check.
Oh, perception. Hey.
That's how that
Looks fine
works.
to me.
Oh no!
Xylund, you can take one too if you'd like.
Looks super fine to me.
Okay. You don't see anything necessarily. Xylund, as you kind of look around the room a little bit, and Lily, as you investigate as well, you start to hear It's really similar to the noise that you heard before you came down the spiral staircase. There's just this sort of, might even call them dissonant whispers, but they're this minor cacophony of voices, almost subaudible, like you can feel it more than you hear it.
I'm going to use my divine sense.
Okay.
Oh, what's it do again? How does it work? Blah, blah, blah.
Paladin extraordinaire,
Yeah.
folks.
I'm just wondering if I have to specify what kind of... No, it's... So any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet of me.
Yeah.
So do I identify any?
They're undead, but they're beneath you.
Beneath me?
Mm-hmm.
How sturdy is the floor?
It's all stone.
Does it sound like the whispers are coming from beneath me?
It's, you can't pinpoint exactly where the whispers are coming from. They seem to be everywhere. They're just, but it's low key. It's like somebody left a radio on in a distant room. It's just audible enough that you can hear it, but not enough that you can make out what they're saying or what have you. Can each of you roll a wisdom save? Just Xylund and
Oh my lord.
Lily, please.
This is...
I am
Quick.
so... Actually, I'm not terrible at these.
Wait, you get advantage because you're close enough. I think you're within my sphere, aren't you? You're 10 feet away
She
from me.
just
Yeah,
gets.
I'm 10
She just
feet.
gets to add your charisma bonus to it.
Right, so you get +2 to that.
Oh, so that's 19 instead of
Okay.
17. Thank you.
19 and Xylund.
Look at that. Wise as fuck.
4. Wise as fuck.
Surprisingly wise. I mean, that's Lily right there, not Tylen, that I'm talking about.
Okay, so you're able to, again, the voices never leave. But in investigating the rooms, you don't find anything that strikes you as out of the ordinary. It looks, as well as Lily said, very much like a dorm room that you would see in most academies or seminaries. It's a lot of people crammed into a very small place. These do look a little more lived in than everything else you've seen so far. Again, you haven't seen the dining room yet, but it does look like people were here recently. They're fairly clean, even though the stonework itself is in pretty bad disrepair. The beds are fine. The desks definitely look used. They're not dusty or mold covered or anything at all. You can see that there are ink stains on the tops that are fairly new, but there's none of that left. There's no inkwell left behind. There's no quills. There's no books. There's no parchment. Everything has been effectively wiped clear. You can see on the stone floor chips where things heavy might have been set, dressers or trunks, but none of that has been left behind. Just the pillows and the raw furniture. There are no windows here. There's no decorations. There's no drawings on the walls. There's no indication that gives this place character. It is a stone room.
So does that apply to all the rooms or just the one we looked at?
For the sake of brevity, we will say that these rooms all appear to be identical. If you choose to investigate them all, I will require another wisdom save.
Boo! We will stay within 10 feet of each other.
Okay. All right, go ahead and give me one more wisdom save as you go through. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
look at that.
Okay,
That
Xylund.
is a 15.
And a 15. Lily, let me write that down.
Oh no.
'Kay.
No, don't write it down.
Too late, write it down.
Erase it.
It never happened.
No, it's in pen. I can't erase it. But yeah, going through here, it's unremarkable, other than the fact that it is easily the cleanest thing you've come across so far. No Dr. Pepper loot in this wing, but it does look like a bunch of people cleared out in a hurry. So we will cut down while you guys regroup. Davynn, you wanted to play with the door?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay. How would you like to play with the door?
I would like to try to open it.
Okay. So you go to open it. It seems to be locked. Although there's no locking mechanism that you can clearly see on it. And instead, what pops into being directly behind you, so in this space right here in the center, is a see-through image of a dwarf, a hooded dwarf. And you can see its hands, its booted feet, and just the lower half of its face. It doesn't speak. It doesn't make any noise anyway. It simply gestures to its mouth. Its hand goes to its mouth and then points to the door. And that gesture is repeated, seemingly on a loop.
So we have to talk to the door or kiss it. Lana, what do you think?
I'm gonna repeat that phrase Xylund used earlier to unlock the first area.
Lana, is your detect magic still going?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's a 10-minute ritual and it lasts for 10 minutes, so I sort of assume I can just keep it up.
Okay. Besides, obviously, the image, the illusion that you're picking up, you also pick up above each of these now truly dead creatures. There's abjuration magic here. And there is a butt ton of different signatures coming from beyond the door.
Davynn, there might be a whole lot more of those over there.
What? Doors?
No,
Illusionary
these guys,
dwarves?
pointing at the two dead things.
Oh, okay, that's probably not
Like
a
a
good
fuck
thing.
ton of them. Oh, I found Mushnik, by the way. And the other
Oh, where is he?
guy. Over here. I just figured
Okay.
I should mention that before I forget.
Are they okay?
Is he still talking? Is he still, like,
No, he's asleep.
blabbing on and on and on? It was so
I
annoying.
think he's alive. I can't really tell.
Oh. Never mind.
But
then.
you said he's asleep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Come
let's
on.
go find him.
I also need one of you to spot me while I open up most obvious trap in existence.
Got you.
Okay, wait, before, are you speaking the password to the door, or are you
Yes.
leaving?
I think I said that before
Okay.
before you caught me, so what's done is done.
Okay, so do you remember the password?
Me as a player, absolutely not.
I mean, it's up there. You can just scroll up.
Or you can roll an intelligence and I'll let you say it.
Let's do that.
Okay, good enough. Good enough. And the door, upon mentioning the password, the door itself does open. The illusion poofs as Kern walks through it, but the door does begin to open.
Oh, well, I guess we're dealing with this first.
Sorry.
Lily and Xylund.
What's happening to Lily?
Do you guys? I will give you the option. Do you want to come south? Because I
Sure.
mean, the echo here is fairly once you guys clear the doors, the echo here carries pretty far, so you can hear everything that they're doing. You can hear Kern walking around. You can hear most of the conversation between Lana and Davynn. So you are aware of what's going on to the south.
Perhaps.
So you can go south, or you can continue to explore to the north. It is your call.
Let's check this out first in case they're gonna
I
unleash
sense
a horde
they're
of
fucking
zombies.
something up.
Before my sister does something to get herself and all the rest of them killed.
Oh, did I mention there's a horde of zombies beneath us, possibly?
Oh. No, you did not. Yes, let's definitely go south. I'm gonna send a message saying, "Wait, don't open the door."
As it rumbles open.
They've opened the door. They've
Alright.
opened the door.
Let's go.
So we're gonna Lily is gonna break out into a run because fuck.
Okay, so you watch as the stone door sort of rumbles and shakes and moves, and beyond it is it's very similar to the cages that you guys traveled in, the ones of you that were coherent enough to remember them. You can sort of see the weird color distortion as it meets with the stone around it. And in the center of it has been placed, it's almost sculpted within the force field itself. There is a strange pattern. Its symbol, it looks like a hentai tattoo.
A what?
Henna tattoo?
Henna tattoo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, cool.
I was like,
I was
Sorry.
How
about
many
to say,
tentacles are on the
It
tattoo
could look
again?
like that. It could have tentacles.
like
You don't
tentacle
know.
tattoo.
A henna tattoo.
Davynn averts his eyes.
Too
Forever
late.
Innocent
sorry.
eyes.
Hentai. A henna tattoo. Does kind of look tentacly, but mostly it's just sort of dots and interconnected scrolls. And that's sort of built into the center of it. It's still opaque, but yeah, it's definitely there. Now, other than this center bit, the rest of the cage is perfectly transparent. And beyond it, you can see what looks like a strange sort of metal shop. There's a boiler and a smelter and what appears to be tools on this table that lines this little room. And it is stacked full of stuff. There are weapons and shields and other things hanging on the wall. There are things all over this table. There's no one inside that you can see. But yeah, this place is absolutely stuffed of stuff.
Can I walk into the room, or will this cage thing prevent me?
It prevents you. It again behaves very similarly to your force cages, where contact with it just gives it that coloration, and then it rights itself when you move away.
Guys, I found cool stuff, but I can't get to it.
Does anybody have a dispel?
I don't think that worked last time.
Yeah.
Last time?
Oh yeah, we were
We've
caught
had
in
a
these.
long couple days.
Yeah, we got captured after
Also,
we were chasing
with
after
that
Lana, who was
23, the
paralyzed
spell
as a
does
mole.
not work on force cage.
Lana was paralyzed as a mole.
Yeah,
We're
that-
moving right along.
Captured?
Nope. Okay, let's
You
keep
left
hitting
a
this
few
wall.
things out there, sister.
Nope. Touching the wall.
Okay,
Eerie,
yes.
would it be possible for me to attempt to Misty Step past the force field?
You can try.
I will.
Then he's splinched.
Okay, I gotta roll mischance because it's teleportation, and that's fine. Misty Step is low level. You cannot Misty Step past the force field. The same thing happens when you phase out. You run into it as if it were physical, and it gives that you guys can see kind of the outline of a Xylund as he as he hits the wall.
So I'm going to, when I see that, knowing what Misty Step is, which is essentially a teleportation spell, and having used it, though she will not mention that to Lana, and fortunately Ulric does not tattle on things that she does, I'm going to get closer and see if I can determine anything of it from, like, knowledge of Arcana / intelligence / whatever I can
Well,
use.
Lana, you rolled a critical
Yeah.
success
shit,
in
yeah,
your
she did.
intelligence?
Yep.
Was that just a general puzzle solving?
Pretty much. The big thing was I just wanted to know that I couldn't attempt to dispel it. But if I can get more out of that, I will gladly.
I will out of a critical success, I will definitely give you more out of that. The hentai pattern in the middle,
It's
as
not
it
any
will
better.
now forever be.
Thanks.
It looks familiar to you from your time as a mole. You were in a unique position to see the hands of your captors as they held you, as you were paralyzed, and watched them walk by you. You were pretty much forced to watch. since you were totally unable to move.
This just makes it sound more like hentai.
I know. That's why it fits. And the pattern in the center of that wall reminds you of the tattoos on their hands. Each one is slightly different, but they all have similar sort of basic designs to them. And the swirls and the tentacles are very reminiscent of the tattoos you managed to see during your mole time.
Gotcha. Not sure what to do with that, but
Well, how about we let you guys, look at Lily specifically, deal with this since you guys know more about magic than us, and we can try checking on Mushnik and Johnny.
I don't think there's much we can do about this. It can't be dispelled. You can't teleport through it.
You were saying something about a tattoo that matches the one in there.
Yeah. So if we kill a guy and get his arms, maybe that'll do the trick.
Maybe?
What if... Do you think maybe if we tried to replicate it?
I suspect it was enchanted. We can't just recreate that.
I mean, it's
Do you have something that you can draw on people's arms with? Because I'm down to try.
I have a disguise kit, so sure.
I'm just gonna try, like, a minor illusion on my hand that matches that symbol.
Okay.
It's a cantrip. It's cheap. It's easy.
Okay, Lana's drawing on Davynn. We've got a minor illusion going. Oh, that's an excellent disguise kit. Yes, okay. So as Lana face paints a very good likeness of the tattoo on Davynn's hand, Lily mocks one up on her own with minor illusion. What do you want to do with it?
I'm going to put it generally where Lana said it was on her captor's hands. I'm gonna put it in the same general location and see if I can't push my hand through the thing.
Okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't respond. It just colors around your hand, making a little hand turkey.
Well, it was worth a shot.
Davynn?
I'll try putting my hand through the thing.
Okay.
Hand turkeys.
You too make a hand turkey, but now you've got a cool decorated hand.
Okay.
I still need you to go spot me while I do something before my sister gets to it, because otherwise we're going to be here all day.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Can I summon snow thumps inside the force field?
Inside the force field?
Yeah, on the other side.
You don't know. So do you want to try?
So this design, it's on the floor, is it?
No, it's it's actually built into the wall. The doorway is covered by this sort of force cage wall, and the design seems to be built into the center of it.
Oh, so it's like a magical thing.
I'm gonna try.
Like it's almost like a doorknob in the center.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm gonna try a knock.
Okay.
Because it can suppress. It contains a mundane or it doesn't mean lock or doors, but just mundane or magical means that prevent access.
Right, but it's also a second level spell, so it won't work. But it does create a loud knock, audible from as far away as 300 feet.
Oops.
Oops.
We have two people who can ritual cast silence. Why did we do this?
All right, everyone, stop fucking with this force field. We're just gonna dig ourselves deeper.
All right, let's go try to deal with the other thing first.
So Lana and Davynn are peeling off from the party as Lily knocks. Ulric, Kern, Xylund, you guys want to take a poke at it while they move?
Sure, I guess.
You don't have to.
No,
I know
Ulric is
dispel
fond of not
magic's
poking
not gonna
things he
work.
doesn't
So,
understand.
There is I will point out for Ulric's sake, on that table near that smelter, is a fairly sizable pile of gold.
How invisible is Ulric still?
That's a good question. How visible is Ulric?
Well, unless there's something that's done damage to me, I haven't cast anything else that has concentration, and it hasn't occurred to me to stop concentrating on invisibility.
Alright, so Ulric, you're still invisible.
You said there's a pile of gold on the table?
On the inside of the force field, yes. On the table
I
there,
see.
next to the smelter is a pile of gold, in case that would motivate Ulric to be more helpful in his invisible state.
So,
Kern?
Maybe you can walk through it if you're
Lana.
invisible.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
In your experience, does this force field thingy go underground as well?
I believe it's usually a cube or a sphere, so presumably. But you could try. Could I
I do.
detect if it is a full cube or sphere via the detect magic?
You can get a sense of it, yeah. And
As it, like-
yes, it does go.
Ooh.
It's not completely underground. Like once you go deep enough, it drops off because it can only contain so much space. But it does start above and ends below the floor.
But does it have like? Is there a force cage floor to it, or if we remove the ground, would there be an entrance?
No, it has a floor. It is an
Ooh.
enclosed cube.
Okay. Okay. Never mind then. 'Cause I was just gonna excavate some stone if that was the case.
I'm pretty sure this won't work, but I just wanted to make sure. If I summoned my horse inside and he ate a bunch of gold, and then I dispelled him back to horse heaven and summoned him again, I couldn't get him to pick out the gold. Correct?
Okay, first of all, your horse has an intelligence of at least 6, so it would be a hard sell to get him to eat gold. Second,
But I'm his
Can
master and he
you
loves me.
type up that quote? Please. Please.
I'm fairly sure that when you dispelled him, he would either leave the gold behind, or
Okay.
he would take the gold with him and not bring it back, as he is a not actual thing.
He's also
Are
under-
you?
He's
That's the
also
most racist thing
underpaid
I've
and
heard.
has to save for his retirement in horse.
He doesn't need a retirement. He's in horse heaven.
So we can just donate all the money to someone else.
To horse charity.
Which is why he's in horse heaven. Because he does
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
technically, he's in horse limbo, but you know.
Well, then he clearly needs to donate more to charity.
Well, he's the horse of a paladin of Krenin.
So you're saying paladins, like you're saying followers of Grenin are of dubious moral quality and
They
may not
are
necessarily
of
get to heaven.
neutral quality.
So you're saying I'm going to limbo when I die?
No, you're gonna go into a soul gem. I thought we talked
Well, I
about
know,
this.
but if I hadn't got this soul gem thing locked down, I'd be going
So,
to limbo.
can we
You
go check out
personally,
Lushnik?
probably,
Yeah.
probably. I'm
So-
not sure what Grenin stuff up your butt policy is, but it's probably not as liberal as you seem to think it is.
He's cool with it.
So seeing
So-
the patterns on Davynn and Lana,
Mm-hmm.
can we like find the center of this force cage and maybe like draw the opposite direction of the pattern on the ground there?
Okay, I see what
Center
you're
of it?
saying. Yeah, you could. It would be about where you're standing.
Okay. Cool. We can try that to try to dispel it, maybe.
Okay.
Because she seemed very interested in like the shapes and stuff.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, you can. I assume you have something to draw with, but
Maybe. I don't know.
okay. So Xylund is trailing after. Yeah, clank, clank, clank. So while Kern is drawing and Ulric is supervising, Xylund
What he does
follows.
best?
Yes. I saw what you got for 9th level, and I'm very happy you got that.
That Doesn't sound ominous at all.
No, his ability for 9th level is the ability to watch things outside of combat and learn about them.
Oh, Ulric?
Yeah.
Oh.
That sounds useful.
Yeah. So Xylund, as you follow Davynn and Lana, you get to see this section for the first time. So you note the door here, not as imposing as the others that you've run across. You get to the morgue and stairs as they travel north up this tiny, tiny little hallway. And as mentioned, there are 6 bodies on display here, 2 of which you recognize immediately as Johnny Winslow and Mushnek, the Mushrood.
I've never met them.
Oh, that's right, you haven't. Okay, so they're just people to you.
One of them is a devilishly handsome pirate.
Mm-hmm.
The other's a drug
Yes.
dealer.
The other
the
is
other-
a glorious man with glorious mushrooms on him. He's the most delicious looking man you've ever met.
Are they in comas?
You can investigate if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. I'll
Or
investigate.
do a perception check, excuse me.
Yay!
Yeah, they look dead. Pretty sure.
I'll cut their heads off just to make sure.
Alright.
What?
Just kidding.
Alright. Are you following north?
Actually, I'll fiddle with this door over here. They probably got whatever's going on up there
Okay.
covered.
So we'll jump up here for a second to the north. Lana, you are once again in the room. You've got your 2 dwarvish bodies laying on slabs, and then the desk with the amazing array of bookcase surrounding it, covered in these black-bound books.
Detect magic.
Well, there's quite a bit of magic.
Yup.
There's quite a bit of magic. Each of the bodies both radiate a bit of magic, fairly faint. Seems to be coming more from what they're wearing than they themselves. The books themselves don't appear to be magical, and there's no other equipment on the desk. You're still getting the same magic bump from that room to the south as you did the first time you came through here.
Gotcha.
But and then of course your party. Other than that,
That's worse. I'm gonna flip through some books because I have a great survival instinct.
okay. Yeah, they looks like complete gibberish to you.
Hey, Xylund, do you want to read some Dwarvish?
Are you fiddling with the door in Xylund?
Well, was it locked?
It is open if you push on it.
Well, poke my head in first before I go up north.
Okay. With your goggles on, you poke your head into this small side room here. Not overly large. But what's inside is completely different from anything you've ever seen before. This room is stacked from floor to ceiling with racks upon racks. They look like test tube racks that have all been solidified together. And every wall, as well as a large sort of butcher block section of the floor in the center, covered with these holders. And in every holder, there is a slender shard of crystal. Couple inches in height, about diameter of a quarter. And they all kind of glow sort of blue, even though there's no light source in here. They seem to have a faint pale blue cast, all on their own. And there is that whisper that you got when you were investigating the dorms is louder from the moment you open the door and poke your head inside. It's like getting hit in the face. It is very strong here. It's a little unnerving, but it's not frightening. And all you see is just sort of your own face reflected back to you in pieces in all of these crystals. It's a little overwhelming, to be honest.
Does it remind me of the gems that are holding souls in the other place?
Kind of. They're as shiny, but these seem to be, again, they're cut very differently because they're long instead of sort of the jewel cut that the Bloodwell Guard uses. The ones the Bloodwell Guard uses could almost be mistaken for costume jewelry. You know, they look to be set in rings and necklaces and things, but these are almost tubes. They're long shards that are cut almost like spikes. And they definitely have a different feel to them, and having so many of them this close together, they almost make this solid wall. It's like being inside of an ice cavern. Speaking of tundras, it's like having a solid reflective wall of ice staring back at you.
Did you say all the test tubes were solidified together or something?
It seems to be one rack. Yeah, it's one continuous rack that goes around from floor to ceiling along every wall. The only gap being the door where you are, and then there's a large table that is also essentially a big rack of these crystals in the center of the room. There's enough space where you can walk around, and that's it. Everything else in here is crystal.
I'll call to Lana. Just a sec, and I'll go into the room.
I'm gonna start wandering down this corridor.
So Kern is watching from outside as Xylund goes in to the room. Oh, crystal.
I'm gonna pick up a crystal, see what happens.
Okay, so you just pick up a crystal at random?
Well, see, do any of them stick out as particularly important?
They all look pretty uniform. They all seem to be the same color. They all have that weird pale blue cast to them. And they, as far as you can see, go ahead and make a perception check. Okay, Kern's coming with you. Make a perception check, please, Xylund.
Can I have Kern give me advantage since he's right next to me?
Yes, you can.
Or do you want me to make the perception check?
Or can Kern just make the perception check and then grab my hand before I do anything stupid?
That would probably be a good idea. Kern, with your passive perception, again, this is not an overly large room.
Oh, okay.
Two things stand out to you.
Mm-hmm.
The first is in this corner here. Boop. There is a crystal that doesn't reflect the light of your shield back quite the same way. It's the same color and size and shape as the others, but it's got a long smudge of black on it, like somebody took garbage and put their thumb in it and ran it down the side. So it breaks up an otherwise perfectly clear wall of reflection.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Second thing, of course, you hear the whispers as well as you come in. Also mildly unnerving for you. But the whole room smells like rain for you. Like that smell of wet grass.
I don't get that, though.
No.
Okay.
Like the smell I smelt in
Before.
Yeah. Just let out a sigh and just try to go where the most damp feels.
It leads you to the back wall in this location. And again, staring at this wall where your own face is reflected back to you, you look kind of closer at some of these, and you begin to see images in them. Different images in each crystal, all moving sort of like their own silent movies, all playing all at once. Each one with different people in different places. It's difficult to keep track of what's going on in all of them.
Are any of these people familiar?
There's one that looks strangely familiar. You see the image of a large alligator? Crocodile? You never really were good with that. That appears to be getting its face painted.
Oh.
By a small creature,
Oh.
brown hair, and an oversized battle axe.
Oh shit! So should we probably take that one with us?
But you said it's like there's a whole bunch of other like different images and stuff. And I turn around like, are you seeing this island?
Am I seeing this?
If you go up to where Kern is, yes. As you stand with him, you can see you see the same image that he sees. You see the little crocodile movie that's going on, and you can catch sight of all these other little scenes that are playing in all these adjacent crystals. But they're all different, and they're all different people and in different places. You don't see anything super exotic, like there's no palm trees or high mountains or anything, but it all seems to be all these little stories going on with different people. Some are underground, some are above ground, some are kind of in rural communities, some are in cities. You see gnolls in some, and in others you see halfling communities. They're all going on, all simultaneously.
So how many of these vision crystals, like, is it just this one area that has these scenes in them, or?
Do you want to look further and check out the rest of the room?
Yeah.
As you sort of scan the shelves, every wall from floor to ceiling, all of these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of crystals, they all do the same thing.
I'll pick one up. How much does it weigh, roughly?
It's incredibly light. It's similar to your own crystal. In it's a little larger, but it's, just a crystal.
Okay, I want to quickly scan the crystals and look for someone who looks like they maybe had kind of a shitty life. Like, shitty as in they were kind of an asshole.
Okay.
Like, if I can see a scene of someone, like, kicking a dog or something like that.
There's lots of scenes of war. There, as I mentioned, there are several that seem to be from the perspective of gnolls, and that shows a lot of slave mistreatment and slaving behavior and people in cages. So it's not all happy fun times. These are all awesome people. It seems to come from all walks of life.
Okay, I'll take some jerk gnoll and I'll take their crystal and I'll throw it down on the ground, see how easily it smashes.
Okay, so you pick it up and you smash it on the ground, and it instantly shatters.
Okay, I'll take a slightly less shitty gnoll, and I will just, rather than throw it down on the ground, I'll just drop it.
Okay.
From, like, shoulder height.
You drop it, shatters.
Okay, I'll take another one, and I'll drop it, like, a foot
The
closer
scientific
to the ground.
method at work, people.
Yeah.
What do you do with the third one?
I'm just gonna hold it like a foot closer to the ground and then drop it.
Okay, so you hold it as you bend down. Again, you're watching the scene play of this particular individual's perspective, as whoever this was is herding two children into a cage, and as the moment before you drop it, as the scene ends its playthrough before it picks up a loop, the crystal goes black. The pale blue gaze that was inside of it blinks out, and it's just this dead gray thing. And as you let go of it, it cracks. Doesn't quite shatter as dramatically as the others, but as the point impacts the floor, it does crack along the side and basically split in two.
Have all the crystals stopped showing their scenes? Have I scared the crystals?
Glancing around the room, you do not appear to have scared the rest of the crystals. If it was meant to be a warning to others, they didn't eat it.
Like, what I'm trying to determine is if we can load all these crystals into a big sack and rescue them.
You would have to be, if you're going strictly on damage, it would be a very, very delicate affair. It would be akin to taking a stack of bone china and putting it in a backpack and expecting it to survive.
Alright, so, oh my god, this is going to take a while.
Well, we gotta at least get Annie and Corin out.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I like the rest of these people.
Yeah.
Some of them are jerks, but probably some of them are okay. We should try to go through and pick the best people and save their crystals.
Maybe on our way out.
Well, who knows if we'll be coming back this way, though. I mean, we
Right.
don't have to go crazy. We can just take, like, a couple crystals each. Everyone, like, make sure they're all nicely bundled up so we're not going to smash them if we get in a fight.
Hey guys, sorry to overhear, but I heard Annie and Corin, and then I started crying, and so I came over to see what was going on.
And I just hold up the crystal of the alligator getting its face painted.
Don't drop it, though. It's really breakable.
I
So
cry more.
you'll-
Okay, so Kern, are
You'll-
you handing the crystal over to Davynn, or are you gonna hold it?
I am just kind of holding it.
Okay, so you hold it, and as you kind of notice in your periphery as you're talking to Davynn, the scene plays once again. Davynn, you're able to see the scene of the crocodile getting its face painted. And as the scene ends and the crystal sort of like gears itself up for another loop, it too does that gray
Oh, fuck!
cast.
We're killing them with by touching them.
Put
And-
it back! What did you do?
I like immediately like as carefully as possible try to put it back down.
Okay, Kern reholsters the crystal, and it sits there in its sort of inert state. It's gray. The picture no longer plays. It doesn't have that inner blue light anymore. It sits there sort of like a dead Christmas tree light. It's just a blank space in the wall now.
What?
You guys just killed Annie and Corin again.
Who said that? Who said that?
Unbeknownst to you all,
So-
Invisible Ulric has snuck up behind you for the sole purpose of delivering sass.
No. Crap. That's gonna be.
I'm an
that's
artificer. I
kinda
can
fucked up
mend
here.
stuff. I'm gonna try mending on it. Is that a thing that can help?
I can fix this.
Oh wait, it doesn't
Um,
work on magic stuff. I don't.
No, it literally just puts things together.
I can do this though. Hang on.
Can I,
Oh
without
my
touching any of
God.
the crystals, study them a bit?
That's
Closer.
for constructs. And putting broken things together. What do you need, Lily?
Without touching any of the crystals, can I study them a bit for? Actually, hold on. These are magic, right?
They seem to be.
Oh right.
I'm going to,
start
on
painting.
a random crystal that does not appear to be associated with anybody that these people care about, I try to identify them as a ritual. Oh, well, I guess I will have to touch one. But, meh.
Yeah, you do have to touch it.
But yeah. Okay, so I'll just pick a random one that doesn't seem to be associated with these people or invoke any feelings from these people.
Pick a gnoll.
Sure, I'll pick a knoll, and I will take 10 minutes and identify. Take 10 minutes and identify it as a ritual. If you'll give me a moment, I might be able to see if these are recordings or, actually people's souls.
Davynn and Kern are just crying.
We
you-
killed them again!
That's
I
insane.
do-
We found
I do
them
my
preserved and we
abs-
killed them.
I do my absolute best to tune the
I was
chuckleheads
gonna say the
Ow.
whales
So
and
I
the
can-
whispers and everything else.
so I can focus on this ritual.
Okay, so Lily's casting her identify, which gives you about 10 minutes. Are we all just gonna wail in the crystal room, or is there anything you'd like to do during those 10
No, I'm
minutes?
gonna.
Well,
I'm gonna
no,
put it in
there's
the
some of us
past.
who don't care about Annie and Corin as much. We're still trying to solve the
Hey,
force field puzzle.
Xylund, do you want to read some Dwarvish in the next 10 minutes?
I gotta check out this crystal in the corner first. I'll go to the
That's
switched
it.
one.
Yeah, that too. We need to check out the big.
Oh right, our dead party members.
Okay. Ulric, are you actually trying to figure out the door? Do you have something you'd like to try, or are you just staring at the door?
No, he's supposed to just staring at it.
Okay. Are you sure there's something you'd like to try? There's a lot of gold and loot in there, man, and you're invisible.
And that's why he's trying to open it.
Pee on it.
He already peed.
Just try walking through it. Maybe it's like a thing that only activates if it can see you.
I don't know. Let's see what happens if I put a hand on it.
You get the turkey. You can't push through it. You see the outline of your own hand against the door.
Any other weird, strange things in the room I should be aware of?
Just the two dead guys. And there
Two
are,
dead guys.
as you look around on the walls in the corners above the dead guys, there's chalked symbols up there.
In Dwarvish, I'm assuming.
Well, no, because they're arcane.
Oh, even better.
Arcane?
Yeah?
There's an arcane person in the party.
Yeah, she's busy. She's
She is
focusing on a
busy,
crystal.
but afterwards.
Ulric doesn't know she's busy. He's gonna go hunt Lily down.
Okay, so Ulric is hunting Lily down. Xylund, you're coming to look at the marked crystal?
Yeah.
Okay.
I am
Yeah,
too.
as is Kern. Okay. So yeah, it looks like someone took a crystal and wiped garbage on it. It's just...
Am I still getting spikes
Yeah.
of rain smell?
Yep.
Is it emanating from like this area too?
And it seems to be the room now. Originally, it led you to the alligator crystal. Like it was really prominent and it was very localized there. And now that is no longer a thing, it's now more a widespread thing. It seems to be in this room in general.
All right. Is this like large crystal like blank? It isn't showing any memories or anything, right?
It's hard to see through the garbage. It's got the same pale blue light that the others have.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's got that big, ugly smear on it. So it's difficult to see if it's playing anything underneath its smear.
Right.
Well, if we touch it, it'll stop playing its thing. So how do we clean it without touching it?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, you guys
Maybe,
ponder. Oh, you got something?
I've seen Lily clean things without touching them before.
Oh, her
Prestidigitation. So maybe that might work.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure. All right. While these boys are fiddling with the crystal and Ulric is being Ulric and Lily is concentrating, Lana and Davynn, what are you up to besides wailing?
Well, I was crying,
Yes.
so pretty much just that for now.
Is that what you're going to do?
Oh
You're just-
my god. I'm
you're gonna cry?
poke around these dead bodies a little bit more.
Okay.
I'll try a healing
That's
word on one of them.
Actually,
even though I
probably a
have
good idea. I'm going
complete
to.
confidence that it's not going to work.
I will also help with this because I don't want to lose another party member.
Okay. So you cast healing word on just the room.
It'll probably kill him, knowing our track record. But healing word on Mushnik.
The spell fires. You can see it work. You can see it through your detect magic. He does not seem to wake up though.
Yep.
But he also doesn't appear to be injured either.
It's because he's at full health already.
There's no wounds.
Oh wait,
or
I remember
anything
this. I need to hit him for 14 points of damage.
Are you
I'm
gonna
not-
hit the body?
I'm legitimately tempted to try to slap him awake.
But Mushnik is the best. You wouldn't want to do that to Mushnik, your best
You're right.
friend.
Where's Johnny?
He's right next to him.
She's not just slapping him, she's straight up stabbing him!
Oh no!
I have the strength of
That's a
0. I
critical
can't do
hit.
more than that.
That's a critical hit!
Yeah, so that does double damage.
I'm really happy I convinced you not to hit Mushnik now.
So you bring your
Unfortunately, you
rapier
have to do at
down
least
on
one more damage.
on poor Johnny Winslow.
Lana, what are you doing?
I'm trying to wake him up. Give me a minute.
Why do you have to stab them to wake them up?
It might work.
You just Just do this instead! I'm gonna punch Mushnik.
Now we're splitting our efforts.
Punch Mushnik then. Go ahead.
Alright.
We have the best plans.
Good lord. Oh, that clearly that will be a hit.
I think that's 3 damage.
Okay. Yeehaw. So you suck.
I have 2 attacks.
So that's right. Suck in the face. Once with the left, once the right. Going to
Give me so much shit for stabbing him.
Mushnik.
Those are also both crits.
Yes, they are. Because he's.
Which means it's
After
actually 4
everything
damage
he's done
each.
for you, this is how you treat him.
So,
Yes.
for those of you not in the crystal room, which is Lily and Ulric, who can see this.
Wait, Lily is in the crystal room because she's doing the
Oh, that's
identify.
right. Lily's concentrating on her spell.
So
So,
she's in here.
Ulric, all you see is Lana stabbing some random dude. With a rapier, and Davynn punching the crap out of this little mushroom dwarf. Is wailing on him.
You guys
Alright,
are really good
that
friends.
didn't work.
The best Ulric can think of is that one is an ex-lover of Lana's, and Davin is just
Snapped
an idiot.
He's
and gone
excited.
crazy.
Yeah,
Davin's pretty
he's
excited.
just doing what Lana's doing because monkey see, monkey do.
Okay.
Wake up!
I mean, as far as I know, everyone walked in there and just started sobbing their heads off for reasons unknown.
Yeah,
So this is
exactly.
hardly the craziest thing that's
The
happened.
party is falling apart.
Guys,
Right.
what's wrong? Did you fail a wisdom save? What's going on?
So, I don't know if Sid is back yet. God, I can't
I'm
talk
back.
today.
I'm
Okay.
back.
Did you want to do your prestidigitation thing?
I don't have it. I was gonna ask Lily to do it.
Oh,
Lily
Lily's
does not have
concentrating.
it either. She has she can ray of frost.
Doesn't
No!
someone have mage hand? Can we
Lily
just
is
give
suddenly
someone
a
a
very,
Yeah,
very,
I've got mage hand. I'll go
what's
do
sort of
that.
more popular person.
Lily has thaumaturgy, minor illusion, message, and ray of frost. I can make it look like it's cleaner without actually
Alright.
making it cleaner.
I've got mage hand. Let me do that.
We'll just give the
Okay.
mage hand a rag and get it to.
Okay. Sure. What's the worst that can happen? I just stabbed the dude.
Yeah, so she goes back, rapier in hand. Bloody
Covered
rapier
in blood.
Look, it didn't wake him up. It was worth a try.
Maybe we
So
have to do
now-
it more.
Johnny Winslow is bleeding on his table. Mushnik is taking on a few more bruises.
It had to be done.
Mage Hand wipes away the grime, and Xylund, from your vantage point, there doesn't. At first, there doesn't appear to be a movie, quote unquote, playing in here. But as you watch for a couple seconds, it shows an individual watching another, what used to be Cathal Ross with the robes and everything. He uses his hand to press against a bit of stone, and you can kind of see in the stone a lightly etched pattern. And by pressing his hand against it, the stone door opens, and whoever is the owner of this particular movie goes ahead and walks through it. Whoever belongs to this crystal was a member of the Cathal Ross.
Do I recognize the area where he's pressing the stone or whatever?
It just looks like a stone door to you. Most of the stone door here look similar. You do recognize the morgue in the periphery.
In the periphery. So, using this crystal as a guide, can I find the area where this door would be?
Mm-hmm.
I will do that.
Okay. So you kind of wander around a little bit, retracing the steps. Oh, from the crystal memory of Annie and Corin, all you saw from the projector's end was the hand painting. But you could see the battle axe laying to one side, and it was anyone who knew what they were watching would know what they were watching.
Well done, guys.
We should take that crystal with us. I mean, maybe we can wake it up somehow.
Yeah.
And we can't make it any more dead than it already is, I don't think. If it's dead.
Okay.
I have detect magic up. Are the ones that they killed no longer pinging, or do they? What's going on?
The gray one still does have a faint sort of transmutation vibe to it, but it pales in comparison to the ones that are still active. Those are give off a very, very strong transmutation.
Maybe
Set.
it's not
Guys, I
touching
think
it. Maybe it's leaving it in the. Maybe it'll recharge if we just leave it where it is. I don't know how this works.
Is the thing that the crystals are on magical? Like does
No, those it's only the crystals themselves.
All right,
They
so I don't
don't-
think it's a magical recharge station.
Can I try to bring back the vision?
We can definitely try that. We will cut to Lily real quick because I'm sure it's been 10 minutes for Lily.
By now, yeah.
Yes. Lily, as you sit and concentrate on your crystal, I forget what all your spell tells you, but this is...
I can just repop it.
Yeah. It is obviously a magical device. The spell that powers it is not entirely familiar to you.
Mhm.
It's similar to a soul cage, but it's not the soul itself. This is a much more powered down version than soul cage.
It's
This
like an
doesn't-
impression.
Yeah, it seems to be more of a memory as opposed to someone's actual soul.
It's like
this
Harry-
vessel isn't. It's kind of it's like a memory ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like the magical portraits in Harry Potter. They're impressions of the people, but
Right,
not the
it's
actual
not-
people.
The vessel itself isn't powerful enough, and the spell isn't powerful enough to imprison a person's essence, but it is powerful enough to keep a fragment of it and store it. But it's not powerful enough to keep it forever. It's a very limited sort of tool, and let's see how to use them. The attunement is necessary. In order to fully wield the crystal, you do have to be attuned to it or a piece of it. These are obviously crafted from a whole.
Yeah.
And there is some level of attunement required with that in order to handle them properly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's effectively the spell is effectively a mix of Soul Cage and Memento Mori.
Yeah. So okay. In that case,
So we didn't kill our friends again.
No.
You killed the last bit.
So when you say it can't last forever, does that mean like even if we weren't here, it would eventually die, or since we activated it by looking at it, it faded?
Unless attuned and handled properly, once it goes through its rotation, if it's removed and held and activated by somebody who's not fully attuned, it dissipates. It's the crystal itself is not powerful enough to maintain the memory for a very long time. So once it's activated, it can't last unless it's been attuned to and given some power based on that.
Well, the good news is you didn't re-kill your friends, so kudos. Would you like the bad news?
Sure.
No, I'm good with the good news.
If
I'm gonna go find this
uh,
door.
Okay, so
If you do not attune to these crystals properly before removing them, they can't sustain the memory for very long, and so the memory leaves. And that's all it is. It's a very, very most vague impression of their soul in the form of a memory. It's not the soul itself, just copy of a small piece of it. But what that does mean is that memory of your friends is dead and gone. However, if you'd like to take any of these other memories, perhaps they might be useful, I can walk you through the attunement process.
Well, in order
And,
to attune, you'd have to hold it. That's the only method you know, Lily,
Well-
is to hold and
Well, you said if
meditate.
you said if you touch it and remove it from its station. So
Well,
I'm assuming
yeah.
if I can just meditate on it while touching it on its station, it would be fine based off of what you told me with the
Possibly,
identify.
that would require a little bit of science on your part.
A little bit of science. Well, I am
Yeah.
always down for a bit of science.
All right,
So-
so let's clear out the room here. So Xylund, you left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
I heard the
split.
good news and I was like, good news.
You're looking for your door. Lana, you're getting to books. Kern, you wanted to try and revive
Yeah.
the memory.
Yeah.
Okay. So you.
Kern is such a softie.
Just real quick though, Erie, before that, you said you can attune to these crystals. If you attune to a blank one, can you put a new memory in there?
That you don't know.
Okay.
You understand the spellcraft behind it, and as much as you get what was used to create it, but as far as the actual step-by-step ritual, you have no idea. You don't know the steps. You only know sort of the raw materials that was put into it.
Sure.
All right, so Kern,
Yes.
are you going to pick it up, or are you going to leave it in its holder?
Think I'm just gonna leave it in its holder.
Okay. You're just sort of staring at it intensely.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you stare into this blank crystal now, sort of dull gray, for a while you don't see anything, and maybe even start to get a little self-conscious that you're staring as all these other little pictures sort of play around you and attempt to distract you. But you continue to watch, and for a flicker of a moment, you think you might see it again.
Yeah.
The little bits of color and the little fingers marking out the image that was painted ever so lovingly on a paralyzed crocodile's face. But just when you think it's coming into view, it winks out, and you see an entirely different picture instead. This one sticks around, though. It's a familiar face, one you haven't seen for a very long time, but you think about pretty often.
Oh.
Safe, supposedly, anyway, by the looks of things, in a land that you also haven't seen for a very long time, surrounded by a few other familiar faces.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh, but everything appears to be calm. Face is happy. It's actually a pretty gratifying sight. It's one you wouldn't mind having this blank/not blank crystal. Picture comes into sharper and sharper focus, and it seems to draw into the hair, the same color you remember, and even as it gets hyper focused on that minute detail, the scene changes almost instantly,
Oh.
and the sunshine color gets pulled back, and it is overtaken almost Ringu-like. The hair becomes whiter and whiter and whiter until it's nearly platinum.
Oh.
And it becomes more tangled than strands. And it feels like it's going to leap out of that crystal and wrap around your wrists. That feeling of peace and calm is almost instantly replaced with absolute dread. It is terrifying, but you can't not look away. And the very, very last thing you see before it winks out and the picture goes gray again is a face peering up in between those tangles of platinum, and it's just red ring blue eyes staring back. And then it's gone.
Like blue eyes with like red rings around them.
Yeah, just like somebody who's been crying a lot, like red puffy eyes, and just have pink outline to them. And as that picture sort of blinks itself out of the gray crystal, and you almost involuntarily sort of pull yourself back, you can see that same image, that same set of eyes, that same mass of platinum hair echo through the rest of the crystals, just ripple through, overtaking whatever pictures were playing in them before, all the way around the room, until it finally reaches the door and they all return to their normal state.
Well, that's disconcerting.
You didn't see any of it though, Lily.
Oh, no?
Nope, that was purely for Kern.
Oh, jeez. Well, you do see, if you would have been watching, Kern would have like started tearing up
You can see
and
his
like
reaction.
crying and stuff.
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh.
But not the image.
No, she's doing that thing I sent to you, Yuri.
Mhm.
So she's not paying attention.
Well, I am definitely taking a crystal now.
Okay, which one do you wish to take?
The one that had Corin's memory in there, because
Okay.
sentimental value.
Okay. So as you reach for the gray, that rain smell intensifies for a moment, and you get a minor whisper in your ear. It's, for a second you think it might be Lily, but no, different voice. And all it says is, just for you, just this once. And that image, the crocodile and the face paint and the tiny little battle axe, pop into view again.
Just smile and hold it close. And do my best to, like, I guess, keep it, because I've seen how fragile these things are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I use,
Well,
like,
yeah,
any-
you watch Silence Experiments.
Yeah, I wrap it in any sort of extra clothes I have. I try to make sure that it's not gonna break anytime.
All right. Dash it away for safekeeping.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Lily, as you scan through, none of the images look particularly helpful for you. Or, I mean, they don't mean anything. They're just snippets out of people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Xylund, you are tracing the door?
Yep.
Okay. The door that it actually leads you to, as you kind of retrace the steps, you walk through the morgue and you walk through the halls, you eventually end up here again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the door?
It doesn't seem to be the same door. That's kind of the weird thing, but it does have a very similar setup. And if you look in the stone to the side of it, it's got that same kind of indentation. But in this case, it's been sort of smeared over with that same black gross stuff that was on the crystal.
I turned
So
to
it
get
doesn't
Gayle
look
to
like it anymore.
clean off the.
Gayle, you
But
left
Gale's
Gayle.
not around. Davynn!
Gayle.
Oh my
I'm
god.
still punching the bodies.
Yeah, he's
Trying to get
I
them to
will
wake
do
up.
whatever it is that is needed.
All right, Lana, could you mage hand this shit off the thing here?
Sure, not a problem.
all right.
So I'll try to press the thing the way I saw the guy. Oh, wait. Stop. I do not do that. Okay, we need a hand with the same tattoo on it probably to press this thing.
I can play face paint again.
I think it's he pressed it with his hand, wasn't it? That's
Yeah.
what I saw.
Yep, he pressed it up against his hand and it
Yeah.
reacted to it.
I guess we could try that.
Hey, Davynn, can you just bring your hand back here for a second?
Yeah.
Then you can go back to punching poor Mushnik.
I raised my bloody fist. What?
Yeah,
Never
okay.
mind, I'll do it again.
By the way, have they woken up after a sufficient amount of damage?
No, you're
Okay.
pounding on this poor dwarf. Johnny Winslow has an open wound and is actively
Okay.
bleeding.
I will stop.
But they do
after-
not appear to be waking up or
I will
have
stop
any
after
reaction.
like 5
I-
punches.
Lana and Davynn are now the party's murder hobos.
Yeah.
It was for their own good, or at least we tried.
Johnny is bleeding actively.
Oh,
Fury said.
fine, I'll bandage that or something.
Well,
and
yeah,
then go
you
do
cut
this.
him up. I mean, like it's not life-threatening wounds, but
Oh,
he is
never mind then.
bleeding. Okay, so what are we doing with the door?
I believe I'm having fun doodling the same symbols onto somebody's hand again.
Are we
because
doing that again? Okay.
Davynn's appears to be obscured by blood.
Yeah, Dad's gonna need a cleanup. Okay, so you're doodling on Xylund?
I think so.
Sure.
Alright. Okay. So you doodle again. Are you doodling the image from the force door or the image from the symbol next to the door?
Which one was the one you saw in your memory flash?
I'm assuming that do the Cattle Ross all have the same symbol on their hand, on their palms?
Nope.
I know you said. Oh, they don't.
They have similar ones.
Okay, so what are my options again?
There's one symbol that's embedded into the force door, the one that's blocking the treasure room.
Right.
And then there's the other symbol that was obscured with muck that's in the stone next to the door. Looks like this door might have been replaced.
Okay, well, let's do the one in the thing next to the obscured by the muck. Next to the door? That symbol?
Yep, set into the wood, or set into the stone here. There's another one that's been obscured. And it is different.
Okay, let's do that one, that symbol.
Okay.
All right, so doodle up a copy. So now you look like, well, you don't look like Cathal Ross. You look like Xylund with a doodle on his hand, but
And I press it against the thing.
okay. And nothing happens.
Okay, other hand. Let's do the other symbol.
Okay.
Now you're dual wielding
Yeah.
Cathal Ross tattoo.
God.
And it turns out having it on both hands is what instantly starts the indoctrination process that converts you to Cathal Ross.
Yeah, I hope not. Okay, I'll press that hand against the thing.
Okay. Against the force door or the stone?
The stone. Well, I'm doing whatever the gem
Just-
said.
Okay. It pressed against the stone. So you press against the stone and it has no effect.
Okay, now I'll press them both against, not at the same time, but against the fourth door.
Okay. So one at a time you try your hands.
Yeah.
But much like Davynn and Lana's attempts, all you get is a turkey. Get a hand turkey.
I think I could hypothetically get one of us through it.
Wow.
I have freedom of movement, which means that magic can't hinder your movement.
I do too,
It is a
but
4th level spell, though.
yeah,
And
but I don't know if
it would work.
that'll.
Can I roll some sort of int to know if that would work?
It's still no from probably here.
Oh yeah, my
Really
nat
good
20
one.
earlier.
Are you talking about?
Apparently I'm a force cage expert, apparently.
Apparently.
Wait.
I wrote a paper back in college.
I see. Go ahead, Xylund.
These Cathal Ross, they do these tattoos on their hands with this that glowing fungal pigment, don't they?
Yeah.
Have we seen any of that around?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it grows
Ulric has.
everywhere.
No.
But
Well, let's
yeah,
go get some and
perhaps
use that.
you've also seen it fairly recently when you were poking things with your mace.
Do these two dead guys have that on their arms?
Well, one's a gnoll.
Does the dead dwarf?
Do you want to examine him?
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't really require a perception check because he's not going to. He's not going to fight back anymore. Examining the dwarf in the corner, while he may have been stripped of his robes and accoutrements, he still bears his tattoo. And hauls him over to the forest cage. And you just want to press his hand against.
Yeah, see if it works, and then I'll do the
Okay.
other roll.
Stone or force cage first.
Force cage first.
Okay, so you press his hand up against the force cage, making it all splayed out and turkey-like, and the force cage wall evaporates.
Oh shit!
Loot, 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 loot!
Good thing there's been an invisible rogue sitting here waiting for that to happen.
Well, the problem is I had to concentrate on that identify.
Yeah, you're not
spell
visible.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah,
for
that's
about
right. You're
10
visible
minutes.
now.
I mean, it's not a concentration spell, but I did spend 10 minutes
Well, in order to
concentrating on it.
attune, you have to.
Can I see if
Oh,
anything
yeah.
in here is still pinging like crazy? Like, is Ulric
Oh,
about to catch fire?
Yes, this whole room is pinging like crazy. There's a lot going on in this room. A lot.
Ulric, you're gonna catch fire.
Hey,
That's legit.
As everyone sort of bum rushes into this not overly large room. As mentioned, as you can see from the outside, this room is just chock-block full of shiny stuff. There is the small smelter setup where it looks like they've been smelting coins. There's a stack of gold as well as what appears to be platinum in fairly neat stacks, organized stacks directly next to the smelting system. And you can sort of see where they've been. There's no current bars or anything, but you can tell from the residue within the smelter itself that they've been melting these coins down. As mentioned, the walls themselves are covered in a plethora of weapons and armor, and some of them do ping for you, Lana. One in particular pings. That is a massive great sword that hangs along this wall here. That sucker is magic as they get.
Does it ping with like instant death or +1 or?
It doesn't tell you what it pings as. It's supremely magical though.
Xylund, you should either let Lily identify this or
I
you
gotta
should touch it.
hang on. I gotta
Hang
shut
on.
everything down for a minute because everything's fucking up on me here.
Okay.
Just sorry.
Sure.
No worries.
In today's episode, we also ran into a few technical issues that our regular, lovely, valuable viewers may notice. So we lost bits of audio. So now we are going to cut together the last bit of the session. The crew has found a dwarven parchment that was given to the resident dwarf translator Xylund, and this is what he read aloud to the group.
Okay. We have kept our pact. Keep yours now. This chamber is shielded from secret eyes, but only this chamber. Take scroll and contents to the clan hall. He is rarely there, preferring private quarters. As you are not of us and cannot wield our power, you will require items to complete the ritual. We have left flesh, 4 bodies. They will only walk familiar paths, so be cautious. Tread lightly here. You are not of us, and the stone will know that. Next, a fragment of memory marked, touch none other. Blood of a servitor, held in the room of ascension. essences of the marrow itself, dangerous, potentially lethal, but necessary. You are not worthy to enter and it will reject your weakness. Shield yourself or risk being drawn inside. Complete the scroll exactly. Do not desecrate Kargout? Kargout. You must be honored. We risk our power even through this action, but we can no longer follow a mad priest and his false lord. The trinket is not our concern. That's that. So basically a bunch of evil-sounding ritual stuff.
Oh. Can you just post that to
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My favorite part is how we were supposed to touch no other memories.
Yeah.
I think mainly because it'll kill the memory if you're not able to attune to it properly.
Have I mentioned oops?
And we've gotten rid of 2 of the 4 bodies, right?
There's 2 dwarves in the library, right?
They're dead.
They are bodies, though.
There are bodies.
But they will only walk familiar paths. What does that mean? Well, regardless.
Unknown.
This is fine. Everything's